Hi guys. Hello. Apologies for the the changes in your body and also in the time. Sorry, I just became smaller because I was so gigantic. Hello. Let me put on my glasses. I forgot. Listen, I just finished presentation and I think I'm still probably missing stuff from the presentation. Cause you know what? There's just a lot to cover. But we're gonna do our best. We're gonna do our dang diddly best, okay? Look at these tiny ass glasses. Hold on. Okay, good enough. Anyways, hello everybody! Hello Bovine, hi Cry, hi Killrock, hi Jace, hi Colin, hi Captain, hi Stag, hello Olhun, hello. Hi Otoharu Rio. Hello Reaper. Hello, you missed us, huh? Hello, Kyle. Hello, did I say Bastion? I don't remember. Hi, Bastion. Hi, Stream Elements. Hello, Danny. Hi, Nishiki. We're not playing Yakuza. Hello, Danny. Hi, Subbase. And Dare. Hello. And hello to other lurkies. Hello. Hi, Weeboo. Hello. Will there be a cheat sheet to steal? There will not be. Actually, you're right. I should have added a test, but I don't even know what the test would have been. What the test would have involved, you know? Maybe it was an endless topic. It is. Hi, Bovine! Hello! Can't wait to share what I've learned today when I ask. This is my family this weekend. There is a lot to cover. Admittedly. Honestly, I wish I had a bit more time to look over things, because I'm sure there's some stuff I'm forgetting. But I think I covered as much as I possibly could in the presentation, as much as you guys need to know anyway, because I don't think that you guys are gonna go, you're not gonna go deep into the rabbit hole. Speaking of holes. But, it is what it is. I can't wait to indoctrinate 13. Don't do that! How you guys doing? How y'all doing? Hi, Rina Khan. Hello. I got my silly drinks. I think I know where I got it from. I went to get lunch with Mama Astera, and I think I know where I get the silly drink insaneness, where I always have 3 drinks on my table. I think it's from her, because she had 2 drinks, and then I went to buy stuff, and I ended up with 2 drinks as well. And I always have water at the end. Nasty liar. Mods, get this weirdo out of the chat. I'm not a liar, hee. I mean, I just tell fun little sentences to you. It's up to you to believe them or not. Silly drink, yeah. Otaru Rio calls them silly drinks, and I have adopted the vernacular. I have my bubble tea. I have a Baja Blast. I think Baja Blast tastes like shit. But I haven't tried it in years. So I was like, maybe it'll be good again. So I have my Baja Blast here for my Taco Bell shit dinner tonight. So I love Taco Bell. I freaking love it. I don't know why people say it gives you diarrhea. It gives me a boner. You're beta brooding after being ignored by your alphabet and extended period of time. What is the correct answer again? Looks like we've already got an exit. We got an advanced student in class already. Looks like I loved you, idiot. You don't like me, senpai? I'm so excited. I'm staying at the front of the class because I'm a teacher's pet. Amazing. You would. You really would. But I feel like you already, we've got some, the thing is, here's the problem with mixed level of learning, is that every student has a different, ability level, and a different familiarity with the topic, and also different learning styles, and that's why you really need to streamline classes, but it also creates classism in that way. So you know what? We just need smaller classroom sizes so we can give more attention to individually students, but that's my thoughts about education. Talk about silly drinks, I usually mean alcohol. I also bought alcohol. Not to drink right now, but I bought it for a future, just in case. Hi, Scam! Welcome. My Baja ass belongs. Do you guys actually like Baja Blast? It tastes like mouthwash. Moods and fans here. Rina really knew the topic to draw everybody. Yeah, it's true. Everybody loves Omegaverse. I'm excited because I also started, in my head, I started drafting my next topic, or my next lecture, which will be about yaoi. I don't know when that'll be. Maybe once a month we'll have a lecture. Hello. Well, if you're the teacher's pet, does that mean you know tricks? Can you show your belly? Rub my belly! Did you guys see that post I retweeted where the shell? The snail, and it was going it was shaking side to side, and it was like, shake my shelly! My shelly! It became stuck in my head for a while. I kept thinking, shake my shelly! Hi, Furtree! Awooooo! Welcome! My streams bring all the Omegas to the yard. Yeah, school was rough for me at some points. Just bored out of my mind while the other students couldn't understand. Yeah, it's really hard. There's a lot of different levels in learning. And honestly, underfunded education systems. But what are we gonna do? To defund the education board even more? I have a tummy ache right now, but I'm drinking silly drinks also cure me. Oh my god, so true, Bestie. What have you got? Do you have your favorite, like, chapstick drink? You're so old. How am I old? What do you mean? I like it with Taco Bell. A guy I know ruined it for me with period tongue, so he said it tastes like soap, and I know what he was talking. That's the thing. I think it tastes like mouthwash, and not in a good way. Swinging my chalet has been stuck in my head. So good, right? Swinging my chalet. I'm an adult, by the way. Oh my god, when I went to buy my alcohol today, I got carded. But like, I think like when I flashed my card, basically, I think that the cashiers now at anywhere that you need to show ID for, they're like, if you were born before the 2000s or even like early 2000s, they're just like, because like she looked at my card for like 2 seconds and then like not even 2 seconds, like 1 second, and I don't even know she looked at it, and then she let me go. So like, you know, silly drinks take care of the tummy. Yeah, silly drinks like Pepto-Bismol. I think I knew someone who drank Pepto-Bismol for fun, and I was like, I don't think that's good for you. I think you can have a boner and diarrhea at the same time, I think. I don't read that kind of porn, but you know, you do you. I'm not gonna yuck your yum, you know? Edible Listerine soap. What are you talking about? Tastes so bad. How they drink my diarrhea boner soap mouthwash? Why do you say these things? Do you think that specific combination of words has ever been uttered? Also, work is really rough today. I opened the stream last night, waking up and then passed out right after open. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that work was really rough. Did you at least get to sleep, sleep in a bit today? Get in some Z's? This woman Rina said you were talking about something a lot. We did talk about you. Did you check the VOD? We weren't like spending hours being like, but I didn't mention you. I mean, I love peptidine. Hello, Face! Do you really? It tastes funny, doesn't it? You know, I don't think any medicines taste particularly good. I feel like when you're a kid, and you give you the strawberry or grape flavored cough syrup to trick you into drinking it, it just gives you gives you trauma for the rest of your life, where you have this specific taste that makes you feel sick. They saw the year started with 18. Okay, buddy. All right, buddy. Petro's pretty tasty. I don't think that's good for you. She watched her potential and just go after it. No! I have been told recently. I started putting in another step in my 12-step, Korean skincare. And I have been told recently by a lot of people unprompted that my skin is really good. So, it's all the retinol. And it's the retinol. And, I've been thinking about getting Botox, but probably not yet. I heard you thought I was a girl. I definitely been strong with gender, so feel free to think. Yay! See, guys, I'm a real one. I knew that Danny does not subscribe to gender binaries. So you know what? I'm the winner here. I'm the real winner. And yay, yippee! I thought I was really special. We did mention you. Yes, I did. It was for only one part, but we did mention you. I don't just call people out by their name when they're not here all the time, Tums are great. Again, I don't think... Have you guys ever done that thing where you take, what was... I don't remember what it is. It's like this thing you take, and then it makes your tongue taste funny. And then when you eat, it makes sour things taste really sweet. Like, people taste you're supposed to, eat, lemons and limes when you take the thing. And then afterwards, you have to take Tums, because otherwise it fucks up your stomach because of the pH. Made my mouth taste funny out for a long... Is that an allergy? Now I'm gonna road trip, so I'm gonna suck a hotel bed and have to get... Oh, man, that's ass! On Friday, no! Well, the one good thing about hotels is that, it's kind of nice being, waited on, getting service, them cleaning your room every day and stuff. Can I wear your skin, please? Probably not. PSL is my second one today, so no, I'm making it. Oh my god! I had my mom was like, oh, what should I get for coffee? Or what should I get for a drink? Silly drink. Should I get coffee? Well, she didn't say silly drink. She just said, what drink should I get? And I was like, oh, have you ever had a pumpkin spice latte? She was like, what's that? So my mom had her first pumpkin spice latte today. She didn't like it. But honestly, to be fair, my parents don't like most things. I think that they love the game. They hate everything for the love of the game. You know what I mean? They love being haters. Yes, you do. No, I don't. I was in a Mega Strikers match and skilled if someone so hard they started trolling his close one. That would be me. Well, we were playing for Rioma's birthday when we were playing Fall Guys or something. At some point I gave up so hard. I was like, I'm just gonna score against myself in volleyball. I was so sad. Also, wow, Omega Strikers, perfect for today's topic. I need to make Tums taste bags every time I eat one. I want to eat the whole container. Just freaking take drugs, bro. At this point, we can't get your skin. Please get yours back. No, I told you I need to make a quilt. Base that she loves being a hater. I agree with your mother. Stop. Every time I take my parents, because they're so, they're such curmudgeons. I take them to try new cuisine, and they're like, this tastes like shit. I miss my regular cuisine. I'm like, guys, you can't eat the same cuisine for your entire life. You've already done that for, 50 years of your life, or whatever, how old they are. Please. Please try new things. Expand your palate just a little bit. Come on, guys. But then also, I think that maybe they have IBS. Or like my dad has IBS and he passed it on to us. Because every time he eats something that isn't his regular plain food, he like gets diarrhea. And I don't know if that's normal. She said drinks are too sweet. She said it was bitter. That's the thing. She had the drink and it's bitter. I tried a sip of it and it was like, it was fine. It was a little bitter, but I don't like coffee in general, so. You play games for people's birthdays, but not with us? What, you mean? I play games with you guys all the time. Half of the members, no, 90% of the member streams are me playing games with you guys. What do you mean? I had to fit through a small 21 by 18 inch hole for work wearing an industrial bunny suit. Not this. What is an industrial bunny suit? That sounds like a common. I'm just imagining construction worker with bunny ears. You'd have to say perverted. I don't think I would say that. I've never said that anything perverted. And respiratory. Cuisine is shittier than one's. Why would anyone expand it? But there's like, your cuisine can't be the best cuisine everywhere. There's so many different kinds of stuff you haven't tried. When you're playing League, I had to miss the last member Grammy stream. For your birthday. 90% of all 3 member streams, by the way. They're not only 3 member streams! You so rude. So fucking rude. I feed you guys so well. You guys know how well I feed you guys? Some people, they have members open and they give you like 1 stream every 3 months. You guys are eating good in my opinion, okay? Okay? Twice a month when I can? That's amazing! Industrial wetsuit? Bonnie suit, apparently. She never had one? Yeah! Like I said, my parents are haters and they don't try things. It's only in their old age now that their mind is finally open. They're like, I guess I'll try some new stuff. And then because like they like some of the stuff we had. Like my mom never had Korean food and then we introduced her to Korean food and she likes it an okay amount now. Wait, Jace has a point. I even paid. To play League? Yeah, for Jace's birthday. Hi, Sarah Tar! Welcome. How you doing? Ever stream with the feeling of the psychological game that we enjoy? Ah, see? Cry gets it. You don't feed us at all. There's a poop bucket! I told you! See, Issa feed her members, but you leave us to the dogs. She does not. Issa rarely... She had 1 member stream in, like, the entire time I've known her. It's my job to bitch and moan about nothing, bird. It's literally my title. Oh, just like my parents. Oh my god, I'm feeling so, like... Oh my god, you're feeling so parental right now. Well, we could be doing even better. Weekly private streams from Rina. What do I look like? Mercy Modiste? I'm not doing that shit. I don't have time for that. Thank you for feeding us, Rina, for the infinite wisdom. Thank you. See? Take the crumbs I give you and be starved for love. Rookie making you read lately? What's happening at work? Is it super busy or are people being incompetent? This poor man eats 1 loaf while his brother starves. Is he eating well? Yes. Very well. Extremely well. She's had more than just 1. Well, she's had more than 1 member stream, sure, but my entire time, I've only ever seen her have 1 member stream. But, like, again, I've known her for... It's almost a year now? Almost a year? Yeah, you can start calling me daddy now. I don't think I shall. Join Issa member to listen to P-Dog. Don't listen to... Don't do that. Don't do that. You have a choice not to listen to it. She forced me to listen to it, so why would you voluntarily listen to that? Wait, that's too cringe even for me. Really? Really? That's the worst thing you've ever said? Issa wrote a song for her members about her drinking piss. Yeah, she did. Yeah. I made 1 member and had a single stream and now he's dying. Uh-oh! RIP! Rest in pieces! This is why you can't trust VPubers. They're all lying whores. I love our toxic person. So true, bestie. Why don't you do that, Rina? What? Make a song about drinking piss? I don't lack the... you know what? I simply am not as creative as SS Pisa. So, you know, I will leave that to her domain. What's your fave cuisine? It's hard to say. It's really hard. Oh, it's so hard. It's probably between Japanese or Italian, to be honest. I fucking love pasta. But Japanese food is so good, and I'm such a fucking weeb. I'm thinking Japan pilled, you know? Guys, yeah, Rina actually talked to us in comments. Some lovers want us to die. Yeah, who? 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 Are you referencing someone specific? You've been trying to get me to listen to P-Dog. Don't do it. I'll be with you forever. I'll be... Yeah, they're all lying whores. Who's Essa Pizza? No, it's Pizza. You see her love the C-Dog like that, but you don't make a song for... I'm not making a song for you. When are you getting that spicy scab from the donut? Oh, it actually just finished. I'll post it at members first, or I'll post the members first. But I think the artist wants to post it on Twitter, so I'll post the like large size in members, and then I will retweet their size. They post whatever on Twitter. But yeah, it literally just finished. Needles so good, right? Tired of boiling water every time you pass it. Do it at the start of the week and freeze for later. Don't do that. That sounds gross as hell. What? When he wants me to die too, what do you mean? I've actively said not to die. I've like literally, you're the one who wants to die. Every time you say you're gonna die, I'm like, don't do that. So like, I feel like I'm being maligned here. Atari is subtweeting several. Ruh-roh. He's subtweeting my mom. I know what she's saying. You little trolling. That's so gross. That's fucking gross. I don't even, you know what? I understand the concept of meal prepping, where like on the weekend you prepare your meals for the week. But I also don't know if I could do that, because I'm so bougie. I'm like, I don't want to reheat food like 3 days later after I made it. That's gross. Are you sure you wanted me to jump off of a skyscraper? I don't think so. I feel like I would recall if I sent you a death wish. And I don't think I've ever done that. If anything, you're the Reaper here, so... You know what they say, seasons don't fear the Reaper, right? More cowbell! You guys remember that? Remember that guy? Christopher Walken! Yeah! Don't do that, Rina Astera and die. Exactly! See? Quote my good things. I feel the need to point the joke. I think he's referring to freezing the boiling water, not the... Oh, not the cooked pasta? Oh! Every time you guys tell a joke I miss it, I'm like, possibly autistic. So you eat cold half the time? The only thing you can eat cold that tastes okay is, like, freaking pizza. I'll literally eat rocks. Like, I don't think you should eat rocks. Those are actively bad for your tum-tum. Blue Oyster Cult reference in 2085. Yeah! Christopher Walken! Whoa! You made a fool of my worker last stream. Who was your worker last stream? I thought you said you missed last stream. Holy ancient reference. Like, shut the fuck up! You dissed me! I'll get Rina Astera in response to my will to nosedive. I've never said that. I've literally never said that. I mean, Danny has the right of it. Listen, I don't know jokes. I only know Omegaverse. No, I think I'm referencing every liver, guys. Rina's the only one who likes us to give her your money, okay? That's true. Never give other people money. Just give it to Rina Astera. Actually, my mom asked me while we were in the car. She was like, so you're gonna go stream later today, huh? But except she doesn't call it streaming. She calls it kiki kaka. Because... She calls it kiki kaka because those are the noises I make when I'm streaming. She's like, I can hear your loud ass from all the way across the house. So she's like, are you gonna kiki kaka later today? I'm like, yes, I am. She's like, do you make any money any month? Like at all? Or like, do you make $100 bucks? And I was like, I make a little more than that. It's not a great amount, but I was basically, I was trying to explain to her how my streaming pays for itself. Like, basically, if I had to put in a lot of money into streaming, I probably couldn't sustain it in the long run. But because I make enough for it to sustain itself, so I have enough to pay for covers, pay for the occasional game for a stream and stuff like that. Maybe some gacha pulls. It's like fine. I can sustain it, you know. Then you might not have a date with him, or should I say grim? Oh, you're so funny. You're actually so funny. Oh my god. Oh, that's so clever. Bro, net zero, let's go. Stop bragging. Stop bragging that I make no money from streaming because it all goes back to streaming. Sorry, bros. I'm not in the red. I'm in the gray because it's not green. It's not green. It's just gray. My community artist hasn't replied to me. Do you think they ghosted me? God, it's so freaking hot. Jesus, should I take off all my clothes? Maybe I should. Hold on a second. All that money to gacha, no bready. Shut your fucking mouth. He write all off his taxes? I don't think so. Because then I had to say that I'm self-employed in this way. And then there's a lot of issues with being... Like, I mean, it's so much annoying to be a freelancer. You get my love infection from streaming. That's invaluable. It's true. Love! Yeah, like right now, Rina... I'm not stripping for you guys. I just pinned up my hair. I have really long hair. If you can't tell. Guys, I don't know how long the stream's gonna be today. Not because of, like, I hate you guys. That's unrelated. But because I'm, like... I genuinely don't know how long this presentation will go for. I think it's, like, a 20-minute vibe. And then if you guys interrupt with questions or we, like, get off topic, probably longer than that. Doing an ABO stream naked is... I'm not doing it naked! God, you sick perverts! Who put that idea in your minds, huh? Huh? Gross. Anyway. Would you guys like to learn about it now? Short hair toggle one day? Yeah, maybe. When are office hours? Only Wednesdays to Fridays. Those are the only times I'm alive. You should, though. It would be funny. I will not! Catholic streamer, Okay, but you guys... No, you guys infected me. My friends are waiting on me last night. I was too busy building Lego ship and watching them gun grandma on my phone and passing out. Grandma? Who's grandma? You're watching somebody else? You're watching another streamer? Anyways, let's learn about ABO. Oops. Sorry, hold on. Oh, I forgot. I fucking forgot about that. Alright, let's see how this goes. This work? Okay. Rina Astera or something? Well, let's see. Will this work? If I capture... Oh, it does kind of work. Okay. But I need to make it a bit smaller. Hold on. Hunter Goon? Do not goon! My favorite one is 2. Stop. Bina Astera or something? Oh, Bina, I miss her. We just watched Werewolf TikTok after the presentation. We could not do that also. This is getting out of hand. Now there are 2 of them. 2 what? 2 what? Oh, 2 prime numbers? Or strip, what do you mean? Nobody's stripping. Stop being freaks. Oh, we should have music on, sorry. I forgore you guys don't like when it's quiet, because the voices come into your head, and you're like, ooh, I can hear my own thoughts, ooh, I can hear my own thoughts. Okay, hold on a second. Let me find my playlist. No free ads! My playlist. My playlist. How's that? Okay. Hi. Age Bex. Okay, not that. I can't believe you know what that is even. Okay. On screen directions said goon. Now you're saying don't. Don't goon! 12 hours, please. 12 hours about ABO. Let's not do that. The voices don't leave anyway. So true, bestie. Anyway, graphic design is not my passion. Sorry. So I forgot to make it the presentation cute. But you know what? That doesn't matter because the most important thing is the content. The knowledge. The knowledge we will gain. Knowledge we'll get. Honey, just fuck up that fasting! You made it just in time the presentation. Yeah, boy! We can get. Don't goon. There's no sign that says gooning. It's gone now. It's removed. Oh shit, let me make myself smaller because my halo is getting caught off. Beyonce would be so mad. Okay. You gonna get Bina back? No, not right now. Only for Bina Astera streams. You guys won't take her seriously. If I stream as Bina, you won't take this lecture seriously. No worries, I never gooned the ABCs. Good, you really shouldn't. So, today, class, we are learning about ABO. Or Omegaverse. You may have heard it before. Hey, that ad was good. Edward was on top. How could you identify that immediately? Let me grab myself to take notes. Yeah, go ahead. You go ahead. AB, and O are blood types of the say so. It's true. Can we get beaten back? Only for fun streams this is a serious guy stream. This is a serious person stream. Hello. Hi, Dr. Hoovian. Welcome. Did you have fun with Delty? I love Doctor Who. Or I don't love Doctor Who. But my favorite was the Ninth Doctor. It's a very famous piece. I don't know music. I only know anime. Hi, May! I'm ready to learn. Yeah, boy! I have zero idea what's going on with this topic. Well, you're gonna get you some learning today, huh, Ohan? Lots of learning today. So settle in. So, you may not be familiar with this. You may have never heard of any of these things before. But today we're going to explain what this ABO thing you might have seen on the internet is. This crazy phenomenon. But to talk about that, first, guys, we gotta talk about wolves. So David Meck, I may be saying his last name wrong, I didn't look at any pronunciations, published a book called The Wolf, The Ecology and Behavior of Endangered Species in 1970. He's a researcher, and while he was not the first person to bring up the concept of, like, the alpha wolf. You guys have heard about alpha wolves before, right? Like, you have heard the concept of, like, a strong wolf who basically, you know, the strongest wolf in the pack becomes the leader. You've heard about this concept, correct? I'm sure you've seen it in a lot of media, too. You know, you have alpha wolves, alpha males, alpha... Are you an alpha? Well, some people say I'm pretty sigma. What is a wolf? A wolf is a creature that, basically, it's where dogs came from. It's like a bunch of wolves are like funny little guys and they boned a lot. And then people were like, whoa, these guys are really good at hunting. And then people took the dogs and they were like, let's take the dogs that like don't kill us and then make them bone each other. And then we'll have like nice dogs. Have heard leader wolf. Exactly. Yes, ma'am. Good. I hate you so much. Hate is just another side of love, baby. So but his book, which again, The Wolf, which was published in 1970, popularized this idea of the alpha wolf being the strongest wolf in a pack, becoming the leader. Unfortunately, Mech later on, he disparaged his past writing. He basically like disowned a lot of this because he realized that a lot of the stuff that they were studying about wolves actually were incorrect. Because we mentioned this yesterday on stream actually, but the study of these wolves was done on wolves in captivity. And as we have come to learn, a lot of animals in captivity in zoos or conservation centers or whatever, they act very differently from how wolves actually act naturally in nature. Legal household pet. Some people, people have like servine cats, right, or whatever, like the ones that serval cats, which have like you have degrees of how close they are to a wild cat. I sent one cat in online class, and now I have a certificate for being alpha male. Whoa, you got scammed. The only way to be a real alpha male is to be a wolf. They also smush their faces in until they can't breathe normally. That too. Yeah, they hate sex. Okay, buddy. This is a lecture hall. Okay. Fun fact. What did I put here? Oh yeah, I wrote about it. So in this, I referenced this article, which talks a bit about the later stuff that he did. He had all his research was done on, not all, but a lot of it was done on captive wolves, and in which he made the terms lead wolf, bitch wolf, as the opposites of alpha male and alpha female. But let's see. It turned out all of it was mostly wrong. In 2022, his publisher stopped publishing the book, but the damage was already done. So the terms alpha and beta are not actually used anymore in their field of research. Wait, you never boned the lecture hall? I did not! Did you? My fine day is my wolf is a wolf Therian. He's always an alpha. What does that mean? I don't know what those words mean. Like a Therian, he writes theories? Fun fact, actually, in the same article, he talks about how typically if you look at a wolf pack in the wild, instead of having an alpha wolf, typically it's a wolf pack is usually, the female, the mother, the father, and then the children. And if there's a case where the mother and father are out of the picture, it just usually is whichever wolf is the oldest. So typically the oldest wolf is actually just the leader of the pack. There's no alpha male bullshit. They threw a bunch of strange wolves into a pen. They didn't act like the family pack, surprisingly. Exactly. They're not gonna know each other. These wolves don't fucking know each other, and it's like the same thing with humans, right? If you take apart the human community, which typically is a family unit, like they're gonna have some fucked up leadership. Person spiritually connected. Oh, I see. Interesting. It's the best TED Talk on my drive home. Thank you in advance. Yay, O'Malley! Drive safe, okay? On what theory it is. Oh, I see. Maybe I'll look it up after. You're so smart, Sensei. Thanks! Kismesis too. Don't say that in my holy chat. The Homestuck lecture will be later. Just kidding. I think Crimson Ruse already did that. So, that is the origin of where you get all of this bullshit about alpha culture. But you see, the damage was already done. So, we have a lot of repercussions about the cultural proliferation of this idea. So you have, oh wait, this was the part where I said about the wolf pack being a family unit. Yeah, the wolves generally there's dominance are not here because they fought for it. It's not some battle. That's usually the oldest or the parents. Or if it's same-sex sibling, it's the personality. So yeah, that's just some interesting information from the same article if you want to look it up. But, like I was saying, there are some ramifications from that popularity of that idea and culture. So you have some more innocuous stuff. You have the movie Alpha and Omega. I never saw that. I heard it was kind of dog shit, but dog shit, more like wolf shit. Ruse, Crimson Ruse I think he did a lecture teaching about Homestuck. So you have innocuous stuff where they proliferate this idea. You have ideas of stuff like, in the hit is it CW maybe? CW network show Teen Wolf, where they also had alphas in their wolf packs. You may have also seen Twilight by Stephanie Meyer, where the wolf pack also has an alpha, which is supposedly the strongest guy. I watched a viewer teach me about menstrual products, so this is the weird thing. Was it Mercy? Mercy, right? Horny people are ruining scientific progress again. So true, bestie. So true. Awesome new Oshi. Who's your new Oshi? Is your new Oshi? Oh, Crimson Ruse. I thought it was gonna be fucking Derek or whatever from Teen Wolf. Oh, yeah, he did. I seen some Teen Wolf. That shit was good in the beginning, and they got bad. Well, I am an alpha. I'm the alpha now. Jacob's so hot. He is hot. He is hot. I don't know what he does nowadays, though. I think he just, like, breakdances at people's weddings. Funny guy. So you have the, you know, fairly innocuous, innocent cultural ramifications. But I think what probably the Zoomer generation, or Gen Z, has more familiar with now is the less innocuous ones. These ones which have more negative connotations that have proliferated in society. You have, as mentioned, was it Cry? Was it Cry who paid 1K for an alpha? I know you're joking, but poor Cry paid 1K for an alpha course. So you have a lot of people who like think, oh, maybe this alpha mindset applies to humans as well. You know, they've created this whole scam around the idea of having alpha males. Or in the more recent way, you have sigma males, which are supposedly outside of this hierarchy and are even cooler. And it's like an even cooler alpha. They're like just like so much even cooler. So you actually want to be a sigma instead of an alpha. But you have so many people making scams, like, you know, there was the famous boot camp, alpha male boot camp, where they had men paying thousands of dollars, and they would basically just get like abused. If you see videos, they would get hosed down and crawl in the dirt and stuff like that. And supposedly the suffering was supposed to make them more alpha male because it's going to make them more stoic. And stoicism is an entire other thing, not even to talk about that. Peak Fun, Peak Mega mentioned. The movie? Did you like that movie? Breakdancers at weddings this week gig. I feel like breakdancers probably go hard at like Jewish weddings. Or like, you know, Sigma. You're so skibbity. Doesn't Sigma mean some in math? I don't know if it means that. I just know it's in the Greek alphabet. This sounds like Army SEER school. Is that what they made you do? Did they make you guys fry bacon on the floor? Personally, I'm a smeg. True, we should add that to the chart. We really should add that to the chart. Damn, paying to get abused is crazy. I mean, there's Findom, right? So, but in any case, these are just examples of how the term alpha male and the studies from wolves and whatever have proliferated in society and created a big cultural, consequences. Now, you're thinking, Rina, why are you talking about wolves? You're thinking, Rina, let's get to the point. Well, I thought I was here to learn about Omegaverse and whatever ABO is. Well, my friends, this background story was important. You're lucky I didn't talk about, Soviet Russia or something, like other video essays. This is not a video essay. This is a lecture. But nonetheless. It's so insane how much of what is essentially misinformation has been integrated. It is true, because, people will use these terms casually, and you see it in a lot of different scenarios, even if it's not related to wolves or related to the study of anything, The concept of having an alpha creature is so common now, Finn what? Finn from Adventure Time. They make you roll around in the gravel naked as a group while they spray you with a cola. Oh, that's literally the exact same thing they do at the camp. Femdom? No, I was talking about Findom. Which, I wish it was real. No, it is real. Anyways, don't worry about that. One time I was really broke in college. So, let's talk about why this has to do with Omegaverse. Did someone mention Odhar? Which part? We had an essay about the collapse of the Soviet Union and communism. That's beyond my jurisdiction. All I can talk about is gay men kissing. I don't know if Findom is. Alright, Splatoon boy. Alright. So, do you guys know what fanfiction is? For those who are unfamiliar with fanfiction, it is basically, and I doubt in this era there is, but we're going to start with the basics of the basics. Fanfiction is basically when fans, take any sort of pre-existing media thing. So, like Pokemon, or your Harry Potters in this example, or whatever media, anything. Honestly, even like Toaster Strudel, or the Pillsbury Doughboy, or even cereal mascots. Any sort of pre-existing media or icon or something in culture. Fanfiction is when fans write stories are surrounding those characters or franchises or universes. So they'll, they can write a story about, Harry and Goku. Like Harry and Goku just having tea or something. And there are huge websites that are dedicated to it. So, the most well-known is probably, or currently in our era, is Archive of Our Own. But for people who, I think that the equivalent for a lot of the youth, because a lot of fanfiction is typically associated with amateur prose and amateur writing, even though some of it's really good. So I think the modern day equivalent for a lot of the youth would be Wattpad. So you have a lot of stuff where people write stuff like, oh, you know, you get kidnapped by Harry Styles and you guys make out, or Joe Jonas Joe Jonas blackmails your parents into selling you to him for marriage and stuff like that, you know? Fanfiction.net and Wattpad. But Wattpad is more of a more recent concept, I think. A lot of the kids gravitating to those areas. We're getting to the good part now. Is that Harry and Draco? It is Harry and Draco. Present basically humans captivated for research cut. That is true. That is true. Should you teach? I was reading a Gate fanfic yesterday. The anime Gate? Really? Yeah, don't forget fanfiction. Yeah, I will die on my fanfiction.net hill. I thought Wattpad was old though. Wattpad is old? Well, it's old, but I think that its purpose has been sort of like reinvented within the last few years. So like you guys have mentioned, the older sites, you know, you have fanfiction.net, which is probably one of the oldest staples. Did you know? I don't even know if it still exists, but fanfiction.net used to have a spin-off site, which was like where I think it was Fiction Press. Does Fiction Press still exist? Where people could write their original fic there. Now the interesting thing about Archive by Our Own is that Archive by Our Own actually does host both. It hosts a large amount of fan fiction, but it also hosts actually a not insignificant amount of original fiction as well. So, you know, you actually can find a lot of original works there. And that's, at least this is the Western association, the Western growth of fan fiction. If you want to talk about fan fiction culture in the East or in Japan and other places, it's a very different scenario. It's a very different scene about where they do their writing and everything. Wattpad isn't recent anymore though, but I think that the kids are still writing. I think that the associations that we had with fanfiction back then, the kids are probably still writing on Wattpad. I don't think there's a new platform for them to be writing their fanfics anymore, because they don't really go on Twitter. Sometimes they write it on TikTok in the comments, or sometimes they'll write it on Instagram, but I think they mostly do Wattpad still. What category is Trump X Biden Omegaverse Omega? What do you mean, like, what category? You already put it. It's Omegaverse. 50 Shades came from Wattpad? No, 50 Shades actually came from fanfiction.net, actually. Interesting. It was originally called Masters of the Universe or whatever. But yeah, I think it was on fanfiction.net. Fanfiction had an original section. Oh, did they really? Interesting. I remember back in the day, I wanted to publish original work on Fiction Press. Can you even do that on TikTok? If there are comments in any section of any website, you can write fanfiction. Do not ask me how many poorly machine translate The good old days before they published the shit in English. I remember machine translating some anime because I was desperate. There's also a lot of things on Tumblr as well. It is. It's kind of interesting that they basically, yeah, like I said, any area, if they have places where they have text you can write, people will write fan fiction. And I think the interesting thing about Tumblr is, though, even though it's a blogging site, I've seen a lot of people write fic there, even though I personally think it's kind of like a poor medium to write fan fiction, because the blogs are supposed to be meant for like fairly short posts, and you don't have a lot of text formatting in interesting ways, which I think that, you know, for the most part, you shouldn't be doing that in your fanfic anyway. But in general, Tumblr, I think the blogging format is not really a great format for writing fanfics, but people do it anyway. I think the worst thing that people are doing on Tumblr, not the worst thing, but it's like, it's so funny seeing people RP on Tumblr, because it's so hard to reply to each other's posts and read the chain. Oh, I didn't even know I could do that. What was that? Oh, oops. Sorry about that. Anyway. Some of the most influential YA authors of time got their start in fanfic. Exactly. There are a lot of fanfics, which, I mentioned it yesterday, the concept of, there's something called filing off the serial numbers, which is where someone will take their fanfic, which is extremely popular, and then sell it to a publisher will ask them, you know, let's turn this into an original young adult fanfiction. So like I've said, previously mentioned, 50 Shades of Grey was originally a fanfic of, Twilight under the name Masters of the Universe. There's this one YA book which you might have seen in stores, if you look at stores, you know, bookstores, called, I think, The Love Theory or Love Theorem or something, which was just a Kylo Ren and Rey Star Wars fanfic, and they filed out the numbers of the serial numbers for that. There's another one coming out recently. I don't remember what it was called exactly, but it is because I think they're making a live action series of it or whatever, and it's like a filed off Draco and Hermione fic. So there's a lot of that stuff. Master Universe, like He-Man. Yeah, weirdly enough, it's actually a very similar name. They're like slow burns fun. There are tags, yeah. Hi Rita, hi Nerdon. Welcome. You came in the middle of the lecture. Welcome. Let a fic on space battles and fiction vlog. I don't. Oh, like those are the topics, or those websites? They have some killer honkai fics. But I don't want to get used to Tumblr. Yeah, Tumblr is kind of hard. It's also hard because Tumblr has like I think one of the stereotypes to do with fanfiction is that a lot of it's porn, which is not true, but not untrue. There's a significant amount that is porn, but like I think that it's like brushing, like, you know, writing about it's painting a picture about fanfics with a really broad brush, because a lot of the fic is just poetry or prose or like, you know, general fic, gen fic as they call it. But the thing about Tumblr is that they have a ban on adult material. I think that you could probably squeak by with writing anyway, but you know, don't want to chance it. I miss the curricular authors notes that use XD speak. I miss them too! I miss the fic where it's like, sorry guys, I didn't update the fic 'cause I was in prison. Like, Fritz Tree, thank you for the gift, Sylvie! Thank you! Under Doyo Zappelli. Is that a reference to JoJo? I don't know. Again, I don't know JoJo's. But oh my god, thank you! Try fanfic though, whatever 50 Shades was. I still wait. The problem is, you know what sucks though? The cycle is not continuing because from what I can tell, is that the author for 50 Shades, I think it was E.L. James, was it? I forget exactly. But instead of like letting the fanfiction around 50 Shades live, I think that they are striking down people who are trying to make fanfic or trying to do anything around 50 Shades to like, you know, publish it into. I thought the cycle would continue, so it makes me sad they didn't. Wait, like it was literally supposed to be. Yeah, exactly. No. So it's very interesting. There's a lot of video essays talking about how the evolution from 50 Shades from Twilight, because you know you have to make equivalents, right? So Bella being a awkward teenager who doesn't get along with people is, you know, what's her name, Anastasia Steele, being a awkward English major, I guess. And then you have Edward, who is a vampire. So what is the modern equivalent of vampirism? Well, it's a CEO, it's a capitalist, right? Apparently. So, oh no, sorry. And that's just him being elite, sorry. The modern equivalent of vampirism is, his dark secret is he's not a vampire. He is a sadist and he loves BDSM. Kink is vampirism, I guess. I don't know. It's very problematic to think about, but that is the equivalent. I was just listening. I got some house chores. Good luck with your house chores. Because the author's always like, sorry for no chapter last week, my house exploded. Yeah, exactly. The determination of fanfic authors to continue their fics is like so incredible. If I had that kind of drive about anything in my life, I would be president. YouTubers always talk about the porn fics. They do, because it's the thing that elicits the most strong reaction, right? Anything that elicits a strong reaction is what's going to get the most airtime. I found Rina that. Shut. Oh right, wait, I found that user too. Fine, let it die. No, it'll be so fun to have the chain. Anyways, so that is what we're gonna talk about fanfics. Now, it seems that everybody has some familiar with fanfics, but let's talk about tags. So as Delta mentioned earlier, tags are something that is essential to fanfiction culture, because tags are basically like things that you can it's a term, a word, or a sentence, or a, you know, some sort of vocabulary you can add to your fic to help people find things better. So very typical tags will be, you know, the fandom it's from. So, you know, Pokemon or Dragon Ball or Evangelion. And then, you know, getting more into it, you'll get like characters. You'll have, you know, Asuka Shoryu Langley or whatever's in this fic. And then after that, you can have pairings, you know. So you'll have Naruto Sasuke, or in this case, Sora and Kairi and whatever, stuff like that. But after that, the next level is that you start tagging stuff that's in the fic. So for example, if there is, you know, if there's porn, you tag if there's porn. You tag if they're in, what's in my mouth? What is that? What the hell is this? Oh, it's potato. Sorry, I was trying to remember what I ate. And you'll have tags about the setting. So for example, you'll have stuff like, oh, is it canon? Canon meaning, is this in the story? Like, is it like, you know, canon as in, is it accurate to the story? As in, is it take place in what's happening in the story? You have stuff that's like non-canon, which is basically not taking place in the canon of the story. So instead of like, you know, if it's like, instead of Goku and Vegeta becoming friends, in this one they become they're still enemies forever or whatever. Or like, I guess that's a little different. That's canon divergence also, where like, you know, canon divergence is where it's canon. It follows the show or the story up to a certain point. So for example, if say sorry for the spoiler, but at the end of Harry Potter, Harry kills Voldemort. Well, a canon divergent fic would be both non-canon and canon diversion, where instead of joining or killing Voldemort, he joins Voldemort. That would be a canon divergent fic that is non-canon also. Tag tier list one. I do like that. Text wall. Yeah, exactly. So the big joke is that sometimes tags can get out of hand. So, for example, the one you see here is that they will get really insane. People will tag you with freaking everything, which also is a problem because it really ruins the tagging system. It gets fucked up. But you know what? It's amateur hour, you know? Yeah, it's pretty good. How many tags is this list? Tell me this is the whole list. No, this is just one fic. And it's not the craziest one I've seen. This is just the first one I could find. I still think about DMD fic where Noise rolled up a whole hot pizza and shoved it. Wow! Wow! We got an expert here. Cry's an expert here. Jesus Christ. What are your favorite tags? That'll be another stream. Maybe it members. Fanfic expert. This class is so easy. There you go. It's a bird course for you. New headcanon. Yes. There's another term that Kyle's mentioning. Headcanon. Headcanon is a term which means, like, you know, stuff that you believe to be true in the show, but isn't explicitly said. And it may be, or it doesn't have to be true in the show. It could be your personal belief about how the show should be. So, you know, a headcanon could be like, oh, my headcanon is that Sakura from Naruto is really into Scrabble. And, you know, they don't ever explicitly say in the show she's into Scrabble. Maybe you personally believe she'd be really into Scrabble, you know? Maybe she should about fanfiction too. Maybe I should. God, a whole ass class. You know, 3 usually has way too many tags in, like, my Go FF10. It's because people add the tags, and, like, some people are terrible. It pisses me off the most when people add tags where they're like, I'm so sorry, I wrote this at 3 a.m. when I was, like, delirious. I'm like, that's not a useful tag! You're fucking up the system! Who's gonna look up this tag? But anyway, just write it in the author comments! Of Shiva from SOR and Oda Nobunaga. What's SOR? Shiva from Story of Ragnarok. Reading headcanon's not head like canon. I don't know what the difference is. Now there is the actual list of the most popular tags on Archive of Our Own. So, you know, like, it's some of the stuff I mentioned. You know, you have non-canon compliant, which is another way of putting non-canon. You know, there's a lot of deviations in it. Sexual content, like I said, a lot of porn. But unsurprisingly, there's also, surprisingly, there's a lot of fluff and stuff like that too. A lot of interesting tags here. But the one that I really want to, sorry, it was a joke from Webcom. Oh, sorry, I might be autistic. I need a log tag practice game on Tumblr because people used to. It is, and I don't mind it on Tumblr, but, like, that's, like, it's part of the culture there. But the fact that they brought it over to AO3 pisses me off. It's fine. Major character death. Yeah, they tag stuff like that too. They'll tag supernatural elements. They'll tag harm to children. Like there are also tags that are useful for warnings, right? So if my fic has content like violent content, or my fic has like poop in it, you know, I'm gonna tag it so people can avoid it. Will it be covering 11 and lies? That's too old. You're too old school, man. Or just AU. Yes, might be autistic. Listen. It's just your headcanon for now. So. But the one that I want to really hone in on this tag list is alternate universe. Not beta red. So beta, sorry, this actually, even though it says beta here, that's not related to our conversation. About alphas, betas, and omegas. Beta in the context of fanfic is basically a beta version of something, right? Like a beta version of a game. You've heard of that. It's not the final version. A beta reader is someone who basically so when people write fics, they still want it to be good. So you might hire or ask a friend or somebody to be your beta reader, which means it is someone who will read your fic in the beta state. So it's in like a temporary form that is not the final form, and they will help you tell you what's good, what's bad, help you figure out the editing and stuff like that. So when you're getting Rina fanfic lore, we're not doing that. Actually, you know what? You guys can't even like make fun of me. The fanfics I've written, none of them have any porn in it. It's literally just me, right? Like it's me proselytizing. It's me fucking like ranting about how I like, or like character study and stuff like that. Because I'm a douchebag. Peer reviewing. Exactly. An alpha reader. I growl when I read. Terrible. I don't think your services will be really required. What was I saying? Yeah, so I want to focus in the term alternate universe, which some of you might be familiar with already. So an alternate universe is basically a tag which says that this fanfic is set in a different universe, not the one that is canon. So it's not in Naruto, it's not in Konoha Village, it's not in the Ninjaverse. So a lot of stuff that you might see could be stuff like, you know, it's in a school AU. Again, shortened to AU. So it might be a school AU, it might be a bakery AU, it may be, you know, whatever. So some examples, you know, it might be a maid cafe AU. Maybe Gojo is a maid working at a cafe and he's not you know, what do they call him? Sorcerer? Whatever they call them. Coffee shop, exactly. Undertale AU something too, yeah. Probably it's hard to write well. It really is. You wrote a bunch of Cage fanfics? I think I wrote one? I wrote one Cage fanfic, but it wasn't even like, it was like talking about, it was before the later games came in, and I wanted to dig into the idea of what happened to Roxas during their Organization 13 days. Anyway. His servers will be crowded, and it's on Wattpad. I mean, it could be on Wattpad. Or maybe it's a crossover fic, where it's still, you know, it's still an alternate universe, where maybe Naruto is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, you know? It's a lot of opportunities for alternate universes. And that is where Omegaverse comes in. Rina, let's get to the point. What is the point? Why are we talking about fanfics? Why are we talking about alternate universes? Why are we talking about tags? Well, it is because Omegaverse is one of these alternate universes. But this specific universe, like Omegaverse trope, is it's so common that a lot of people will know about it. And it has very specific rules about how these things work in the Omegaverse. The verse from universe, you know, alternate universe. If you ever in any Nostalgic fans, then the way you're less crazy. I think so too. All Issa writes is shit, man. Is porn. Is porn shit, man. I think that later get completely crushed by the... Oh yeah, that shit's good too. I love good crossover. They're good too. The fact that you wrote that but didn't play Kate. Well, this was back in the day. Again, I read when I was young. Hi, Riyasu! Welcome, welcome, welcome! You came just in time to read Explain Omegaverse. How you doing? So, let us set out some of the basic terms and basic rules about Omegaverse. Can coexist with it can. You can like stack all of this shit like a crazy combo in Balatro. But here are the basics about Omegaverse. Oh yeah, sorry, welcome to the Omegaverse. This was just a funny image. Ha 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 ha! Welcome to the Omegaverse. Let's talk about what defines the Omegaverse. Oh, wait, before that. Do you guys recognize this image? Can anybody in class tell me what is this image from? What are we looking at? Why are we looking at a bunch of three white guys standing in front of us? Say Gex, that's not what it's from technically. Why are they standing and looking at us all smolderingly? Why are they smoldering at us, huh? What's this guy? Super Who-looking cover. Of course, Supernatural, yeah. It's an album cover. It is not an album cover. It is from, this one actually is CW Network. TV show, Supernatural. Carry on my wayward son. There'll be work when you are done. You'll be work when you are done. Make you something sit to rest. Don't you cry, no. Ba-da-ba-bum, ba-ba-bum, ba-ba-bum, ba-ba. Need a Misha Collins wolf baby. I took a picture of him. I paid an exorbitant amount of my teenage money to take a picture with him. So Supernatural is a CW network show which follows these two brothers, played by Jared Padalecki and what was his name? I forget his name, but he's in The Boys, and he also voices Red Hood in the DC cartoons. I'm terrible. Whatever his name is, I forget his name. And Misha Collins. Wow, two dad rock references in one stream. I've played a lot of Rock Band. Jensen Ackles, thank you. I just rewatched it 3 months ago. Oh shit, nice. You watched all 14 seasons? That's crazy. You should stop watching around season 5, 6. That's when the original story was planned. But anyways, it went out for 13 seasons, and it was about these two brothers who are basically hunting supernatural creatures. And then this guy is an angel who kind of gets, recruited to the team. But this series was insanely popular. Did you participate in the Misha Collins, Gish Wish or whatever? I did not. I wasn't that insane. I just saw it on Twitter and I was like, oh, okay, Misha's doing something again. So this show had a death grip on Tumblr and it had a huge fandom. So there's a lot of fanfics about this show and about the characters. And I think the fact that it has such a specific supernatural background about supernatural creatures also lends itself to be like, hey, we want to see these guys in a lot of different other scenarios. Picked back up around season 9. Was it really good though? I heard it, I don't know, man. The way that it ends is crazy. Anyways, so why am I mentioning Supernatural in relation to Omegaverse? According to my research, and according to a lot of different sources cite this source originally, I don't know if it's true, but there is a essay, or a paper, called Ponfar, Mpreg, Bonds, and the Rise of the Omegaverse by Christina Busse? Sorry, I didn't look up any of this shit. About how to pronounce it. Who is actually a professor, I believe. Hold on, let me look. I fucked up, hold on. She is a professor of philanthropy at the University of South Alabama, and she is a co-editor of Transformative Mars Cultures. So she has a lot of research about fandom and that kind of culture. In her paper, which is cited by a lot of different places, so I don't know if we have a lot of sources for this, but this is the one source that I think a lot of people cite, is that she cites Supernatural as being one of the earliest fandoms that, or perhaps the first fandom, that uses the term Omegaverse specifically. Even though there may have been other fics. So, you know, if you are familiar with Star Trek, hi Kelly Cans, welcome, welcome, welcome. They did about Yaoi so big. Oh yeah, that was crazy. But it was crazy. They kind of made fun of them, but also paid tribute. Mythical Super Hulak, yep. DXC is the anime version. Is it really? That's funny. So if you're familiar with Star Trek, for example, there's the concept of Ponfar, which is, if you're not familiar with Star Trek, sorry, Ponfar is comes up in this one episode of Star Trek, where basically, what's his name? Oh my god, I'm forgetting everything. Spock, who is from an alien race, I forget what they're called now, sorry, I'm forgetting everything. But Spock's alien race, there's a specific episode where the concept of Ponfar comes up, which is basically a heat cycle. So their species, whatever Spock's species, I completely forget, sorry, is that they will go into a mating season. Vulcans, yes, thank you, the Vulcans. Ponfar, yeah. Ponfar, where they will get into heat and they have to find a mate. And I think that, I don't remember the exact specifics, but I think if they don't find a mate in that time, they will die. They'll literally die if they don't fuck. Not the guy who played Venom? No, it's not. No, you're thinking they look kind of similar. You're thinking of Tom Hardy. Oh no, yeah, Tom Hardy, yeah. Anyway, so that's Ponfar. So it is a similar concept to Omegaverse that existed possibly before, and it's like, you know, canon to Star Trek. It existed before Omegaverse was specifically coined, but you know, they have some similar roots in each other. So Ponfar also became a popular tag in fan fiction to use, especially Universe, where, like, you know, Kirk or Spock is in, you know, it's Ponfar and Kirk has to fuck him, you know, stuff like that. If you don't know, also Star Trek, a lot of people cite Star Trek as being one of the earliest fandoms in the West, at least, that like kind of had popularized like gay fan erotica of characters. But that's a whole other lesson to talk about. I'll think of Pawn Shop nearby. Is that what Pawn Stars is about? They go crazy. Yeah, exactly. But basically, this paper cites Supernatural as possibly being the first place where the term Omegaverse occurred, and it. After the Omegaverse was coined, let's just say it exploded in popularity. Whoops. This is the actual amount of, so this is the amount of fics that are tagged Omega Space Verse on Archive by Our Own. So 57,187. But I think this is a low estimate. I think that the problem is that because people have user-submitted tags, there are probably an insane amount of more fics in the Omegaverse tag, but they probably are written in different ways, like Omega No Spaceverse, Omega Universe. You know, there's probably a lot of different tags that cumulatively will add up to this. Add up even higher. But let's just say that specifically the Omega Space Verse tag has 57,000 works on Archive by Our Own. Every fan will eventually reach a point where they find a way to get the fiction when they're obsessed with pregnant. I think so too. A friend linked me recently that a comic, a Shen comic or Shenix comic or whatever about that. It's really funny. But just this is just an example statistic to show you how popular Omegaverse is as a trope / universe / setting for people to use. People probably wrote that Omegaverse just to be different. Oh, probably even, yeah. They probably freaking wrote it in lead speak. In any case, Omegaverse is very popular, is what I'm saying. So now that I've talked about the origins, the history, and, like, you know, a bit of the culture, what the hell is Omegaverse? Let us define some of the basic principles, the basic rules surrounding Omegaverse. God, if you guys could see my hands right now, they're going crazy. I'm so, like, I'm talking my hands so badly right now. So, Omegaverse, ABO, what's all that? So, if you've been listening to the lecture, you've probably, and some of the slides, you've seen me refer to them as Omegaverse or ABO interchangeably, right? So why am I using these two different terms? Back in my days, because you're excited. Yeah, I'm excited. I love talking about stuff like this. So back in my day, as an old head, back in my day, we didn't call it Omegaverse. We called it ABO because this refers to the three genders in this universe. Alpha, Beta, and Omega. But, you know, that has fallen out of use. I think part of it is because it's just kind of annoying to type, and also part of it is because technically the words ABO, the letters ABO together, just like together, is technically a slur. Rina Astera stream without a slur, days without a slur, 0. It's an Australian slur that refers to like the indigenous population of people there. It's like, you know, the quote-unquote Aboriginals. So I think that's part of the reason why we don't use that term anymore. And also probably because ABO stands for other stuff in other fields. Like, for example, like you guys were saying, Kyle was saying earlier, blood types. It is referring to blood types often as well. So I think that a lot of the culture has shifted over to calling it Omegaverse. If you actually look in bookstores in Japan, like Yaoi and stuff like that, you will, and you can read Japanese, it says in katakana, which is the language, the alphabet they use for foreign words, it says Omega ba dash su. So they actually straight up just call it Omegaverse there as well. So it's you know, the entire culture shifted over to calling it Omegaverse. Now, what is Omegaverse? Let's explain it. So, Omegaverse is a universe in which, I'm sure it'll come up some, but Omegaverse fixed exclusive Yaoi. They are not. That does come up later, yes. Not know that was a slur. Thanks for taking us, friends, Sensei. Always happy to teach you guys slurs. Freaky Tinos. You're the one who's excited typing my name. Tina's eyes welcome. So, it is a universe in which humans present with a third biological gender, a third sex, I guess. You know, gender and sex is complicated in general, but let's just say a third gender or third sex. So, you know, sexually we have female and male, right? In an Omegaverse, you present biologically with a third gender, so you get like a second puberty. You know, like an actual second puberty, where your body will undergo changes and you will present as one of 3 things. Either an alpha, a beta, or an omega. No way JP Yaoi is putting Omega boss. Oh, you bet your ass they are. You bet your ass they are. If you look in the Yaoi sections, they will have a big banner that just says fucking Omega boss, if you want to look for that section specifically. See, now I'm scared. Okay. I tried to source only stuff that like I could find the source, or it was like, you know, made by people publicly, but you know, it's hard. So like I said here, it's not gender exclusive. So whether you're a man, a woman, or, you know, non-binary or gender fluid or intersex or whatever else, you could still present as an alpha, beta, or omega. I love this lesson. Oh my god, Alana, hello, welcome. How you doing? I'm so glad you guys are here for the good lesson. They absolutely are putting, yes, they do put Omegaverse, the words, on the cover. They do. Maybe you're procrastinating. I was not procrastinating, okay? I was not, okay? So, I will also say that depending on the universe, the fanfic or whatever else, they do not present, the betas will not present. Like if you don't get a second puberty, in some universes and fanfics, you will just be a beta by default then. It just means you were a beta if you never presented. Now, what do these terms mean? I will get into a bit more later, but I'm just giving an overall general idea that basically you will present as one of these for your second puberty, and that is what is in this universe. Like I was saying earlier about being not gender exclusive, like, you know, here is a chart that I found of a Tumblr user, sorry, I forget their name, who drew a diagram explaining, you know, you can have female alphas, you can have alpha males, you can have male omegas, you can have a lot of different things, and it is usually very biological, essentially. There's literally a Star Trek about Mpreg. I mean, there's Mpreg in the Journey to the West also. Journey to the West, sorry. Oh no, yeah. Hello, Rina. Finally a streamer willing to come forward and educate the mess. See? Thank you, Lenny. Hello, Lenny. Welcome. I'm glad you're here for this very important lesson. As a note also, for the presentation of alpha, betas, and omegas, this is not exact, but this is a chart that shows a typical sort of distribution about the gender distribution for alpha, betas, and omegas in society typically. During the West, the Chinese, yeah, and the Chinese myth, there's fucking Mpreg, and we don't talk about that enough. I'm low-key a female alpha. You might be, you could be. I feel that vibe. I could feel it. So technically, this distribution is similar to this. So the most of all of us, if we were in the Omegaverse, would be betas. That's the large majority of the population. And then to a smaller degree, maybe not 20%, but the alpha percentage and the omega percentage really varies depending on the universe. But what's clear is that in any Omegaverse universe, alphas and omegas are the rarest. So typically omegas are the rarest, but I've seen it where they reversed it as well. But all you need to know is that typically alphas and omegas are the rarest gender that presents. That scares me even more. You didn't read the whole thing, the entire story, huh? Yep, that same one. Speak for yourself, women. I'd be an Alpha Sigma. That's not. Is that what the Bible meant by in the Alpha? That's what I'm saying, man. I think Jesus was an Omega. Emperor shows up in me a lot more. It does. That's the crazy thing. It really does. So I think that, you know, that's why, I think that's part of maybe why the Omegaverse is such an interesting touchstone for a lot of people, you know? It's a really interesting touchstone and an interesting idea that really resonates in culture, and it persists. Anyways, so here, that's the basics of the Omegaverse. I should read Journey to the West. They do! And they have like, and you know what? You know fucking what? According to my research, Sun Wukong in the Journey to the West, he's pro-choice, by the way. Sun Wukong is pro-choice, because he's like, you know what? I think that we should be able to terminate our pregnancies if we want. Anyway, moving on. These are the basics about Omegaverse, but let's move into some of the more nitty-gritty. Oh, sorry, these are some examples. Yeah, sorry, I was showing. So earlier, Captain asked, is it gender exclusive? It is not. As you can see, you have Omegaverse Yaoi, you got Omegaverse Yuri. This game's on sale right now, I think. And you got straight Omegaverse. You got heterosexual Omegaverse. This girl's an alpha, and this guy's the Omega. We don't have to stick to any, like, thing. Omegaverse is freeing. You can do any sort of dynamics and any shit. Doesn't matter what your gender or sex is. Joff will be covering cake first and such in this lesson 2 or just the history. We will briefly touch on that. We briefly do touch on that. Thank you for the question. And yes, I see you're doing you've done your research as well. Is Wukong is hot in her Journey West, everyone makes him, or he's a monkey? He like literally is technically just like a monkey. He literally is a monkey spirit, so you know. But let's subscribe to the Sayuki model of Journey to the West where he is a hot man. Like right now, where do I buy it? It's on Steam, it's on Steam. I heard it's kind of short though. Real suck 'em. Exactly. I read that last manga was an interesting read. Oh, really? Alpha Wolf Girl and Omega Wolf Boy? I bet. It looks kind of interesting. It has a white-haired anime boy, which I love. Now, let us get into the definition a bit more about some of these nitty-gritties. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Now, lest you think that only Japan and Asia does Omegaverse, oh no, baby. The West is also into Omegaverse too. This shit has huge ripples across society and culture. Look at this shit. You got your straight Omegaverse with like your shitty, like, or not shitty, sorry, your trashy romance novels. You got this, look at this daddy alpha and his little Omega M. This specific post was like made fun of on Twitter for a bit. You got your short TV dramas about your straight, like, you know, your 50 Shades of Grey ass alpha universes, shit like that. You got your MM novels with his first child Omega, and this one recently made ripples. This is the first Taiwanese live action drama set in Omegaverse. So, you know, won't you be my wolf shifter waitress at Omega? Soon, daddy. I just haven't presented yet. We don't know if I'm gonna be an Omega or Alpha. We just don't know yet. So, you know, in case you're wondering, there is Omegaverse everywhere. It is taking over society. Now we are actually, sorry, I've made this presentation. All of the times I worked on this presentation was at like 3 a.m. and I was losing my brain. Hunter Hurricane Alpha, that's what I'm saying, shit, man. And this is just one of the 4 alphas I think that you can get with. Furtree, thank you for that gift sub! Oh my god, I went to Gomena, sorry. Oh my god, hello. It's been a minute. So I tried to be bait about this stream. Shut your face. Shut your damn face. Thank you, Furtree, I appreciate it. This will go into, thank you for funding the Department of Education. There's literally a watch band named after it. Oh, is there really? That's a pretty good joke, I like that. Now, we are going to properly get into the actual nitty-gritty and specifics about the genders. Is that your long AO3? Sorry, 3. I would never dirty the tags of AO3. ABO drag queen shows would go oh my god, real and true for the children. The children need to know. We need to fund more of these lectures, thank you. So here are the nitty-gritties. So, an Omega. So typically, again, everything I'm describing in this presentation is only a framework. Every like Omegaverse fanfic or story or literature or whatever you watch, it will not necessarily have these specific things. Maybe they'll have more deviations and they'll have other stuff. But here is a framework, generally speaking, to understand what an Omega is. If I like Omega watches, you might be an Omega, buddy. Fujos and furries produce a system can the content. It is true. It is absolutely true. So, for our definitions, our purpose of what an Omega is. And again, these are not the, like, it's not a say-all, be-all for all work. Typically, omegas have very strong pheromones that attract, you know, alphas or other betas in some cases. Typically not other omegas, I think. They are typically effeminate, but this is not the case in every single case. Usually they're like, you know, they can be buff or whatever too, but the idea associated is that they are, you know, effeminate and like, you know, delicate, you know, and typically they are quote unquote weaker. So they are like the prey animal in this ecosystem. They are smaller typically, and they're often quite like sexy and alluring, but mostly because of their pheromones and biologically, and they're quote unquote submissive. Typically. Rio's so cute. Do you consent to being used as an example? Basically, yeah. He basically consented, yeah. But he's also my uke, so I can do whatever I want with his body. No, he's Rio. He's the best example. He's a very good example. Amazing slide. Thank you. So this is typically what the stereotype of omegas are. Help, Ohen's trying to breed me. Sounds like Jason's an omega. I mean, you are basically the astronaut bicycle. I'm sorry, Jace. I love omegas. I do too. They said means no. He basically said yes. If you ask him, he would say yes, basically. Okay, yeah, sorry. I thought I got messages that are important. It's just Issa. Rio has no choice in this matter. First, an omega, I have no choice. Exactly. He's my little omega uke, so, you know, I get to do what I want with his body. Did you bite it and mark him? That's for us. I never mark and tell. Yeah, what Stag says, yeah. Now let us look at, so that's what typically an omega is. Now let us look at what an alpha is. So an alpha also has pheromones, but they work in a different way. They're more like, if you're familiar with One Piece, it's kind of like, is it Conqueror or Emperor? I forget. Emperor's haki, it's usually works more like that. Where instead of attracting people, it typically is more for like, dominating purposes. It's like, whoa, this guy's so strong. He's an alpha. Whoa, I gotta stand down because I'm like a little bitch. I can smell your mark. Oh, stop smelling Rio. So typically, again, these are just a framework. Typically, they have masculine features, you know, they have denser muscle mass, they have like, you know, a larger frame, and they're quote unquote stronger. And they do tend to have a predator instincts and prey drive. So, you know, there are a lot of fics where it's like, oh, if they see weaker alphas, they might like fuck them up. Or if they see omegas, they're like, I can't help it, I gotta go fuck, you know? So that is typically what alphas are stereotypically like. But again, there are obviously inversions and subversions of this stuff. Now you're like, oh, we've talked about alphas and omegas. What about betas? What are betas like? We don't have a lot to talk about those. A beta is just a guy. He's just kind of here. He's just kind of here. He's basically just a human-ass guy, just a normal dude. 90% of the population. And like I said earlier, they may present and have their second puberty or whatever and say they're a beta, but honestly, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they don't. You fucking, what's that? What's wrong, baby? What's wrong, little baby boy? What's wrong, baby? Beta yaoi makes me snooze. Yeah, I mean, I think that people can make it interesting, but I've never seen it personally. Yeah, don't make me angry, growls. I'll smile like I want. Stop pretending. That's how I feel about Rina whenever it's on. Okay, but they're cute. They're cute. They're here. Now, did not you just use us as examples? What do you mean, guys? What's wrong, little baby guys? Are you guys getting cranky because you didn't have your nap time? Did you not have your nap time? It's okay. We'll get a nap time. It's okay. The presentation will be over soon. You'll have a little nappy time. Okay, guys? Okay, my little guys? So that's why it's like, it's kind of funny that Omegaverse has betas, because they're just kind of there. But I guess, you know what? We love the gen population. We love the general population. They are here to support them. It's the first time I've seen the fan design. Oh, isn't it cute? Isn't it cute? This is for there's also a maid version. I don't know where to put that, but I'll put somewhere. They can't believe they're sad they're not Omegas. I know, right? It's so cute. If we're a beta, that just makes, by association, makes you a beta. No, that's not how it works, actually. Baby bug. That's no way! Stop saying that! Having me. No worries. Let's join the growing pile by the back of the den. What are you saying? Now, let's get into some of the more, you know, now that we've defined the rules, let's talk a bit more about the terminology. So, one of the most popular things you've probably heard of with Omegaverse is a heat or a rut. So honestly, even though it's like, you know, we've like, oh, we're going to heat or rut. It's really just the estrus cycle, which if you know about animals, again, a lot of this stuff is based off of wolves and dogs or whatever shit. So we base a lot of the biology and a lot of the stuff off of that. So if you know about a lot of animals, especially wolves, they have an estrus cycle, which is basically their cycle in which they're in heat and they are aroused. They're sexually aroused. So they want to go breed. They want to go fuck, you know, they to like procreate or whatever. Going to cite the source of this image. This one or this one? This one, I don't know. Sorry. She's messaged me at 5 a.m. once showing me process. Yeah, see? You've seen that? Yeah. Have you? I don't know what this is. I'm real. I just looked up like yaoi. Because I just need to show, like, you know, an example, an image to show you that, you know, make it fresh in your mind. Time for an image search. So, to be clear, though, heats, they both can have heats, but the term rut is usually more exclusive to alphas. Like, I don't know why. I probably should have done research, but guys, I'm hungry, so. Bestie energy. Bestie energy, yeah, they're best friends. Oh, me and Rio having being besties? True. Rio has to suffer through my insane ramblings. So that is basically specific to alphas and omegas. Again, betas are just kind of their guys, but betas and alphas will go into heat. They have a cycle where they need to, like, you know, a period, kind of like a period actually, monthly or periodically, depends on what the work is, where they'll go into heat and get really horny. Male's going to run. Oh, interesting. Okay. Let's go into a bit more. Oh my god, I'm hungry. So, let's talk about heat symptoms. Oh my god, I fucked up this presentation. Hold on. Sorry, let me fix it a bit. This was supposed to add an animation. Hold on. And then this one will also... Okay, whatever. Okay. Oops, not share. Sorry. Stop. Slideshow. Okay, fucked it up. Anyways, it's fine. My joke got fucked up. I knew it's boys love specific. Okay, so let us talk about this. I love seeing people who can make us. True. Then what I actually invest, I'm starting to get the sounds. It's interesting, right? There's a lot of world building. If you like world building, it's really interesting. So let's talk about heat symptoms. Vaccine's terrible, dude, probably. I made a little bit of a chart about some typical symptoms, some typical stuff to explain, because I think that it'd be helpful to see the differences. So, for both omegas and alphas, when they go into heat, they usually have a raised body temperature, they have uncontrollable arousal, which can last for days to weeks. It's a very long period depending on the work. And self-pleasure does not end the arousal typically. So no matter how much you masturbate or self-pleasure, it will not end your heat. There are only basically 2 specific ways that will help you to end your heat. So you either ends when you get, you know, like the omega gets bred by an alpha, or an alpha when they knot inside of an omega. That's typically how it ends. Or the other way is through medical intervention, depending on the universe. So, you know, either they take kind of like how so they can either take something that's similar to birth control, or they can take something that like is like reactive. So there's either proactive medical intervention or reactive medical intervention, which we'll talk about a bit more. And then for some biological differences is that an omega, when they go into heat, a lot of works will have it where an omega will self-lubricate. So an omega will have, like, you know, their body will produce fluids, which will help to ease the process if you were to go into intercourse. And then for alphas, they have a knot, which, if you have a dog, my sister is learning a lot. Is she 13? She's single. There's 2 sisters. There's one who's single and older, and there's one who's 13. I hope it's not the 13-year-old who's listening. But basically, yeah, so if you have a dog, or you know about dogs, you know, their genitalia, male genitalia for dogs, they have what is called a knot. So after, essentially, when they've completed intercourse and they are climaxing, they will, or not even climax, I think it can happen earlier too, I'm not really sure. Sniffing is okay if it makes me alpha. Rio is so far behind the stream. Both of them are here with me in the kitchen. Oh, really cool. I hope they're learning a lot. Hi, Jace's sisters. Subscribe. Don't subscribe, actually. So in intercourse, they will have I would call, I don't know if it's a muscle or possibly like just the blood flow in some way. I actually have no idea. I should look this up. But in their penis, they will have a bulge. A bulge, you know, part of the way along the shaft of their penis that will basically lock It's kind of like a flared end of a dildo. It engorges so that the whatever hole that they are penetrating, basically it creates like a plug, so that any of their semen or whatever will not be lost. So it's better for the insemination. Baldy, yeah. Let's scratch finish. I am crazy. It's true. This confirms she's either beta or omega. She's also known as a knot. No, yeah, baldy or a knot. Yep. Basically, so that's what a knot is. Hi Nene, welcome. Hello, welcome to the stream. We're talking about heat symptoms. So, like I said, the self-lubrication. So if it's a male omega, for example, they have self-lubricating assholes, and alphas, they have the knot. There also are in some cases where, in some universes, I've heard this as well, that for alphas, if the knot emerges and they're not inside of an omega, it can be extremely painful, allegedly. It can be probably one of the most painful things possibly. And in some universes, it has a cultural significance of, like, a bad cultural connotation as well. So that is heat symptoms. Now let us talk about the picture of the knot. I was like, I don't know what imagery I'm gonna show here, but we need some imagery. I got fur. Thank you for another gift sub. Thank you. Auntie Jackie, tell her. Thank you. We gotta, this will go towards the yaoi presentation. You wouldn't know how that feels, Rina. I don't have a knot. It's true. Water-based lubricant, folks, don't shred your. Yep. Good luck, guys. I don't know if you can control it, but anyways, so that is. No, not in Rina. You're crazy. I got fur. Thank you for that second one. Welcome to Josh Fang. That's nice. Oh my gosh. Thank you. I really appreciate the support. This will go into... I will be able to afford some more PNGs for the Aoi presentation. So this is, again, this is heat symptoms. Now let's talk about some other facts. Marking. A big thing in Omegaverse is also marking. Hello, Neo. Welcome. No worries. We're just talking about normal things. We're talking about Omegaverse today. So marking is... I've never learned this way. I'm so glad. Honestly, I'm so curious. I should make a survey to see how much you guys knew about the presentation, and if you had any... You know what? I might make a survey and send it to you guys and share it later so you guys can tell me about how the presentation went. But marking is another key component of the Omegaverse. Red-haired snow. I think it is. I don't know. I'm not sure, but I think it is. That show's hornier than I expected. Glad my hands like still every time you change the slide. I'm so glad. I'm so glad I don't need to put melon so you guys are still entertained. So marking is basically a process in which the alpha claims their omega. So it can look different in a lot of universes, but typically the way that they mark them is by biting them. So it's not just like, oh, if I bite you, I mark you just because I'm an alpha. But it is usually like, it depends on the universe how they do it. It might be marking a specific way, biting a specific area, or biting a specific way, imprinting their pheromones or something, Monthly is so difficult. It even comes with cramps. Sometimes, yeah, it does sometimes do that. Yeah, depending on the universe. Yeah, it's because I don't want to stinky like Rina's a bye chat for now. Okay, bye Vapor. You better catch up on the lesson after when you finish showering later. You should catch up on the lesson. I'll get shower though. Wash off those pheromones. So that's typically how marking happens. I found this chart. Where is it? This chart that kind of shows you an example about how marking would happen. I don't know what it's from. I assume it's from a yaoi manga. Sorry, I really tried to find a lot of more ethically sourced images, but I couldn't. How's the flow this month? Not that bad, actually. We didn't have too many accidents, so it was good. It was a good time. So, like I said, usually the biting is in the neck or specifically in the scruff of the neck. I don't know if this is also from wolf behavior, but it's just, what they do in yaoi. In some universe, so in order to be mated, so similar to wolves, in Omegaverse, as far as I'm aware, a lot of the times, it is a mating for life kind of thing. So when an alpha claims an omega, they are bonded for life. So that's why you have a lot of interesting stories too, where an alpha will accidentally mark someone, or maybe they're forced... Sorry if I heard something. They're forced to mark each other. Then you have really interesting dynamics in their relationship that are really, fascinating. Yeah, I don't think he's... Oh, yeah, I don't think he's caught up. He's so far behind. So funny. And there are some preventative measures. We'll go into this a bit more, but you know, some people might protect their necks so they don't get marked, you know? But this is typically what marking is. One of the big components is basically bonding with a partner for life. So that's what marking is. And sometimes when you mark someone, it also comes in exchange with an exchange of pheromones. So if you mark a Omega, then they might have like, you know, they may have your scent, or they might have the pheromones that show that they're marked, you know? Hold on, I'm 6 minutes behind. That's also a symptom of being an Omega. So true, bestie. The imprinting in Twilight, exactly. Imprinting in Twilight is a similar case of marking, like an equivalent. Baron 1.5, you've got 2x choosing comprehensible. Have you tried? Rio, start lubricating. Don't start lubricating. Don't tell my Omega to lubricate. So that is marking. Wow, did you type so true, bestie, when I can hear you say it? Can you hear me say it? Did you catch up? I wasn't sure if you're still trying to catch up. Wait, actually, before I go, I forgot to mention I was driving for 15 hours. I'm running. What the hell? Reaper! B, take care of yourself more. Bro, take care of yourself and be good yourself. Go sleep. Go shower and go eat. Jesus Christ. I'm caught up. You're caught up. Okay. Can alphas mark each other? Typically, no. I'm sure there are universes and media where they change that and they, like, you know, make some sort of variation on that. But in my personal experience, I have not encountered work where they do that. I put the stream on 2.x to catch up and confirm it can be awkward. Amazing. Never. Take care of yourself, you motherfucker. Okay. So that is marking. Now let us move on to the next category. I don't remember what I wrote, so it'll be a surprise for all of us. Oh, protection. Just like in real life, it is very important that you protect yourself. You know, against, you know, the changes in your body. There's a lot of stuff that you need to, your lifestyle will change. So there are typically, I was following here. Mocha, Mocha, Mocha! Hello, Mocha! Love you! Mwah, mwah, I love Mocha. Hello, hello, welcome. Let me give you this. There you go. How are you doing? We just got to the part about protection for your Omegas, so that's good to see. They don't know what the Omegaverse is. We explained in the beginning of the stream. I'm sorry, you'll have to go back there and find out. It's like level 4 ceramic plates. Hi, Queen Omega the Third. Hi. Double Alpha Rom think really like each other first. That one confesses first becomes Omega. You don't typically change, but some series you can change orientation, I guess. Page 4 of my notes. Let the person know about loading Discord. You're really taking notes. We got Wolf was a stream. Taking my vitamin C pills it's my run suppressor. Really good. Really glad. See, you guys are already catching on the lingo. But typically, I want to say there are 2 methods of protection. So the alphas don't really need to. Well, I guess. So only one of them really applies to alpha, but mostly it applies to omegas. There's 2 typical ways of protection. So as shown in the previous diagram, there is the collar. So this is actually a pretty common staple in a lot of Omegaverse stories. And it acts as both protection and a marker. So in a lot of universes, if you are wearing that kind of collar, then it easily identifies you as an Omega. So in some cases, some Omegas may not wear it because they don't want to identify, obviously, that they are an Omega. But the second purpose of it is to protect your neck from being marked by an alpha. But like, it's kind of, depending on the universe about it, it's either really effective or not effective. Because for some cases, the collar can only be opened, like it's locked, and it can be only opened, like, you know, specifically if you give permission, or in specific cases, or whatever. In other cases, it's literally just a collar, so they could just rip it off and bite it. It's not that helpful. Have you ever done the Omegaverse test? I did. I took the really long one the other day, and I think it's not accurate, but Beyond Arena's alpha. Exactly! I'm obviously an alpha, baby! Now, the second kind of protection, this one is relevant to both alphas and omegas. They're basically heat suppressants. In this image, it shows this just for omegas, but you can use it for both usually. So these are preventative, typically. So basically, you take them, or not typically, I guess it could be preventative or reactive. It depends on the story, but suppressants can either be reactive or preventative. So if you take your suppressants regularly, like birth control, basically, it will prevent your heat from happening at all whatsoever. But there are also cases where you only take it in reaction to your heat. So if you get your heat, you can take a suppressant and it will, you know, eventually it'll make your heat end, you know? So these are the 2 main forms of protection I have seen in Omegaverse. There may be other variations, but this is what I know. Now, what you guys have been waiting for. Let's talk about ass babies. I know you're wondering. You're like, okay, we're talking about all this stuff about, like, you know, pheromones and protection and sexual activity and intercourse and all that stuff. But obviously, a lot of it has to do with breeding. So let us talk about ass babies. I totally don't get it. Good, good. Will this be on the next partial? What is a partial? I don't know what that is. Did they just do... Yeah, ass babies and what babies? Because you're wondering. I think that people... This is quite the rabbit hole I don't want to... It is. Speaking of holes you dive into. Obviously, I think that people are very familiar with Omegaverse when it has to do with, like, you know, male Omegaverse, because a lot of people love yaoi. So you might be wondering, if they get pregnant, if you can get oh, I forgot to mention, Omegas can get pregnant. So I thought that was obvious, but Omegas can get pregnant. So you're like, how do they give birth if you have male anatomy? There are a few theories about how that works. There'll be a session about the FNAF map. That's in the next presentation. So we can't use the plug and plays. Sometimes you can. Sometimes you can. What is it? Well, just press. Wait, press not work if there's destiny. I've heard that. Oh, I've never heard of that, but I can see it happening too. Yeah. Again, variations on the universe. Like I don't think that's common. I don't think that's the typical where it's like, oh, if you use suppressants, if it's your destiny, then it won't work. But I think. Hold on a second. I'm getting a call. This is important. Sorry, it's the Omegaverse police telling me to like shape up. I'm pregnant anatomy. Yeah, the burning question. We like develop a special hole, right? It depends. So beta can't get pregnant, or alphas. Alphas cannot get pregnant, and betas can't get pregnant typically either. Really, it's just omegas who are pregnant. Can I explain the emotions that flood when you open your door after getting snacked and then reading? Okay, let's talk about ass babies for class. I'm so glad you're enjoying the presentation. Please make me 5 stars. Unrate my professor. On their M-preg baby belch on their back. Like, that'd be fucked up. That'd be so fucked up. Okay, so I couldn't find any charts that really showed it. So I drew some shitty drawings. Like, really, I tried to make them really shitty and really more scientific because I'm scared that YouTube will strike it. And people can disagree with me. But to be honest, whenever the fics get to the pregnancy part, I kind of, or like stories, I kind of tap the fuck out because I don't want to know about the ass babies too. But from what I've seen, there are a few ways that they can give birth. The Omegaverse has police. Are they the alpha Omegas? Typically alphas, to be honest. But yeah, sometimes they do. Here are the ways I've seen, but there also are more than this. Let's talk about it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I hate it too! I hate it too! You understand? Do you? Ass babies are when you draw like this. What the fuck is that? Why? Listen! You were. This is scientific! This is for studies. There's like Taco Bell. Is that a second hole? It might be. Okay, so let's explain what we're looking at. And most stories don't get to. Yes, exactly, but some of them do. Some of them do. Can you walk me through number 3? Okay, so it's insane. Not that insane though. Let us talk about what we're looking at. So number 1 is what all of them are awful. None of them go into the actual friend is Trump. It's true. What is 1 through? I will explain. 5 stars on remember. Generally on the worst things I've ever looked at. And I had to draw this! How do you think I feel? Okay. So, in 1 is what you're typically thinking of. When you think about MPreg, you're like, oh. MPreg, by the way, stands for male pregnancy. Ass babies. The baby is given birth out of the ass. This is one methodology. The ass can actually accommodate a lot of things. It can stretch quite wide. So I don't think it's not feasible for a baby to be born from the asshole. There are some, obviously, anatomical changes inside because the baby is not going to gestate in your colon. Sometimes there's like a womb that develops within there. Like, you know, it depends on the anatomy and the story. Hi, first name, last name. Welcome to the stream. I'm so sorry I had to see this. Guys, we're all suffering together. This scares me in the hotel lobby. Why are you? I'm thinking you dropped something. Like, I know an ass can give love personally, but like, maybe that's not. You can do it. If your asshole can lubricate, you can do it. Let's a douche the baby. Stop, I want to do it. Stop, don't say any words like this. I gotta move on quickly, otherwise YouTube's gonna strike the stream. Number 2. Number 2, alpha sperm so strong it creates a woman. Sometimes. Yeah, look at the Okay, so 2, I've heard tale of this, but I have never seen it personally. But in some, I think in some Omegaverse stories, the baby comes out of the urethra. I don't know how it works. I don't know why you would do that, because that sounds fucking painful. How does unbirthing factor in? I don't want to get into, I don't know, bro. I don't know if I want to get into this unbirthing kink of fucking Omegaverse. Just say refer to lecture cap this. You don't want to copy the diagram? But here's the thing. You might say, Rina, this is fucking impossible. There's no way you can give birth to a baby out of your urethra. And that's where you're wrong. Because you know what? Yes, exactly as Stag was saying. Female hyenas actually have, in nature, they have something called a pseudopenis, which is it was something, you know, kind of like sticks out like a dick. It's a pseudopenis. And female hyenas actually give birth to their young through this penis, the pseudopenis. Which is why actually female hyena pregnancy, like natal fatality rate is quite high actually, higher than expected. Because sometimes the baby can't get out of the pseudopenis and it just suffocates and dies. So it is not uncommon for a hyena baby to be like dead because it suffocates in the pseudopenis. Extreme sounding? Yeah, I guess so. Don't all babies come out of the urethra though? I don't think so. I think it's the birth canal. Is it different? I don't know, bro. I don't know. I'm not getting pregnant. Okay, but I'm not a female hyena. This is my real penis. Yeah, but you're not. Oh, I'm sorry to tell you, Otario, but Omegaverse is not real. I'm sorry. Clonal, but we're not hyena. It was an anus. Pseudopenis, not an actual one. Yeah, but still. Enos love. Interesting. Okay, and number 3 is, I think, what's more common. So in number 3, it's not. Listen, I'm not giving birth. Human babies not come out the... Yes, I was gonna say, I don't think they come out the urethra. A lot of expanding broad frame for our babies. You got 3 methods, you know? It's not really... I'm sorry to say. You say you aren't getting pregnant, but I'm still going to try with you. I don't want to get pregnant. It's okay. I get your offers there, but I don't want it. Oh, hi, Giga. Stop. You miss a lot, Giga. You have to catch up on the presentation. You have to catch up on the lecture, you know, later. We're talking about how you give birth to a baby. This is my diagram. 3. There's no 4. There's no 4 or 3. Let me explain 3 first. Let me explain 3. So 3 is basically where... Yeah, 3. So if you are a Omega... So the Omegas are the ones who can get pregnant, and they can give birth to a baby. So number 3 is basically where your anatomy, like similar to, you know, regular puberty, will also undergo changes once you present as Omega. So in these cases, you know, the Omega will develop a womb, and the womb will also connect to a separate hole. They will have an extra hole, which is where the baby comes out of, and probably where you bone. And this hole is just like another, like I don't guess, like another, like a vagina of sorts that develops in your body. That is number 3, which probably is the one that is the least painful, I think. I've also read some fics. Sorry, not fics. It's not technically Omegaverse, but I think that the manga Sex Pistols / Love Pistols does a really good job too, where sometimes they can also take a medication or a thing that gives them a pseudo womb, like a temporary womb, or like a temporary like vagina in which they can give birth, and then afterwards the womb disappears, which I think is interesting. I scrapped number 3 so you can have DP. That's crazy. That's crazy. Are you thanking Rio for their cervix now? Maybe. Rio is the Omega. That's crazy, but all of it is. They're all crazy. They're all pretty insane. The prison pocket. You are a mod. Stop! Please just... Why you just type ellipsis first name, last name? Why? We only have 2 mods, okay? It's Gardelta and Rina Flow Tracker. So, These are the three methods. There may be other methods as well, but these are the ones that I think, like, they're, because if you read a lot of Omegaverse yaoi manga, they actually have a lot of charts that explain it to you, but I didn't want to steal any of the charts from them. I didn't want to steal any of the charts without, like, sourcing, and also because a lot of them are scanlations, and I don't know. We'll see. So is that the Omega loses their teeth and spits out the baby. I don't like that one either. I don't like that one either. I don't like that because you're ew, that's like real predator, like real alien versus predator shit. Bro, I hate that. I actually hate that. Jesus Christ, I'd rather give birth to my asshole. That's terrible. That's fucking terrible, bro. You think giving birth to the penis will remain large? I can see that happening. It's like how when people give birth in real life, it makes supposedly it makes the vagina looser and bigger or whatever. But it doesn't. It doesn't make it looser in like a horrible way. But it's like you get less period cramps, stuff like that, for example. Is there anything to do with milk in Omegaverse? Rina milk? I don't think so, actually. Makes sense. The teeth grow back. I don't. But viscerally, it's bad too. C-section male birth? Oh, I think I've seen that theory as well. Or do it how hyena give birth. Yeah, the pseudo penis here. Yeah, that's what I was theorizing. Anyways, we gotta move on from this slide. So, this is actually my favorite part about Omegaverse, is the societal implications of a universe. Because in Omegaverse, typically the way that it's handled is that the universe has always been like this. In the universe, there have always been alphas and omegas and betas. It's not like suddenly one day aliens crashed here and suddenly they created this new, this new change. In some, I think there are probably some stories like that, but most of the ones, all of the ones I've read have done it where the universe has always been like this. We're getting woke. Exactly. So in a society where people present with the third gender, quote unquote, it would really affect how society works. Did you have butt baby toys? I don't like that. So, if we, like I've said before, the distribution, we're referring back to this chart because the distribution is really lopsided in society, in these societies, Omegaverse societies, with how many omegas and how many alphas there are. So, because the alpha and omega population is a very small percentage, they tend to be very special in one of two ways. Like, betas are just kind of here. So, it's typically goes a few ways. So, in Omegaverse universes, typically the alphas, because they are a dominant, kind of like aggressive type of I guess people, they are typically presented as very elite and rich. They are a high caste who has a lot of power. So to be honest, it's not atypical to read yaoi manga or like whatever Omegaverse manga where the alpha is also a CEO, or the alpha is also a politician, or the alpha is also like student council president or whatever. They are typically placed at the top of the pyramid of the hierarchy. There are of course works where they subvert this and have alphas at the bottom, but it really depends on the work. But really, typically they are at the top of the hierarchy. You have favorite Omegaverse content you recommend as starter content? Who's this man, by the way? He's sexy. Oh, this is Artem from Tears of Themis. He's not, which is not Omegaverse. I just wanted an example. I love that game. It's from the same people. It's actually from Hoyoverse game. But, stop playing it. The first step of good worldbuilding really just starting with your Kinka. There's so much more in depth. Exactly! That's what I'm saying! Isn't this shit so interesting? But yeah, so you have a lot of, in the world, typically, alphas are elite and high caste in these societies. Now, when it comes to omegas, you have one of two cases for how they're special and how they're treated in society. So either they are low caste, bottom society, they're oppressed because they're just seen as like, breeding horses, breeding mules. They're just seen as like sluts or whatever. They're seen as like, because they can get pregnant and they're just here to give birth to things. Sometimes they're made fun of. If you get presented as an omega, you may be seen as like, oh, you are, like you may be dehumanized. You may be at the bottom. There's that case. And there are some cases, which is typically more common the case, but I've also seen it's slightly less common, but it also happens where omegas are seen as prized things because they can give birth and because they are so rare. Without omegas, you can't proliferate the population. So in some cases, omegas are treated in a very special way. You present as omega and you're like shipped off to like omega school where you're treated as an elite or whatever, right? So there are typically two cases. I poor omegas. Ciel is omega? Probably, to be honest. Probably. Why do you have to use my kidney as an example? It's is, listen, I need to look up an image of a yaoi boy being subjugated, and this was the easiest find. This was the easiest find, okay? So typically that's how it works. Alphas at the top of society and omegas are at the very bottom, which is why you have a lot of really interesting dynamics you can play with in Omegaverse universe because of these new caste systems created. Like, can betas not give birth in the universe? I don't think so. I read some posts that say that betas can impregnate. Like, betas can impregnate, which I don't think would be that odd. So probably betas can probably impregnate, but I don't think that they can get pregnant or anything. I've never seen that case. And there are some people in society there's some societies where it's like believed that alphas and omegas have to be together. Like, you know, an omega can't be with a beta, or if they are, it won't work out in the end because they're meant to be with an alpha, that kind of stuff. So a lot of interesting world building that way. Is that Black Butler on the right? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. What even? Hi, Gonzo! I'm explaining the Omegaverse. Welcome to my stream. How you doing? We're actually at the tail end of the presentation. So, that is typically what the world building for society is in Omegaverse. That being said, I wanted to explain how there's a lot of interesting works that, you know, a lot of different works will look into that kind of dynamic. So probably a recent one that's very famous recently, it actually just got announced that it'll have an English license, is Takatora to Omega Tachi, or Takatora and the Omegas. It's almost over. I'm so sad. I know. Don't worry. Don't cry because it's over. Be happy because it happened. You thought this would be over in 29 minutes. I really did. But I'm like so long-winded, so. So this is technically a yaoi manga. I think is this Asada Nemoi is the author. But basically, this story is really interesting because it deals with the son of a prominent alpha family who suddenly presents as an omega. So in this one, even though there is sex and like romance or whatever stuff, it actually mostly deals with the political and societal implications of like, so if you're from a long-standing elite family of alphas and you present as omega, you fuck everything up, and that's not within your control. You finish building your ship. That's crazy! So for example, here's a panel. You see that because Takatora has presented as Omega. He used to be in the Alpha University preparatory class because they thought he would be an Alpha for sure. But he has been transferred through the Omega class, which is like a shittier, worse class. And you see you have these like, you know, now that he's in that class, they give him all the information, this material that is just focused on breeding. So, you know, a lot of Omegas in the society probably just think that their job is to find a wealthy alpha. And, you know, that's their life. They're just here as a broodmare, whatever the word is. Yeah. So there is some interesting world building in that regard. And I think that is sort of a struggle to do with Omegaverse, because on the other hand, you see all the implications of, oh my god, breeding, let's get him pregnant, and I like that part too. But the other part is, wow, they have it's such an interesting universe and trope to explore different dynamics of society and class that may be related or comparable to our society, but are technically untethered. So you can explore some interesting ideas about class, race, and, you know, whatever else, you know? It's an incubator. Like, do not call me an incubator. I am not an incubator. Anyways, so that's, you know, that's just how Omegaverse is perceived, I think, in a lot of fandom. You have the two wolves. You're one of two wolves. I want this image. Oh, you've seen this before? Make a contract with her. It's not a contract, buddy. It's all depends on our biology, man. That's on you? Why is it on me? Sounds like I walked into you yapping about your yaoi fiction collection. Oh, it's not my yaoi fiction collection. I was really giving a lecture about Omegaverse. Anyway, now that I explained some of the basics to you, or explained basically, contract is an incubator. I am cute and I do bait a lot. Anyway, here are some recommendations. So I'm gonna be real with you guys. I'm gonna be so real with you guys. I don't actually read Omegaverse anymore, like a lot of Omegaverse. Like, I had a phase when I was younger where I was really into Omegaverse, so I really struggled to find some stuff to show you guys, like stories I could recommend. You could probably ask other people who have better recommendations. This is just stuff I remember I've read that I liked. But your mileage may vary. So, you know, be cautious, because all of these have sex in them. All of these have gay sex in them. So the first one, Omega Dakini 9 involves a guy who basically gets isekai. A guy gets isekai'd into his sister's dating sim game, which is set in the so it's isekai and Omegaverse. He basically he presents as he's kind of presenting it as Omega, and he's trying to stop that because if he becomes an Omega, then he'll probably be pursued by one of the alpha males who is like the choice, one of the love interests in the game. The one in the middle has gay sex. No, I can't believe the yaoi stop. I can't. Very gay. Recommend to my female friend. 1 million. Yeah. I've seen saying Sasa Mia. I'm like every 8 of my timeline, and I'm like, I don't know, feeling. Oh, that sounds cute. That sounds really cute. So that one's really interesting because it's game isekai, game verse and isekai and Omegaverse. The middle one I like because it has really good porn. I'm just gonna be real. The middle one has really good smut scenes, and this one is basically this guy gets put in. He gets sent to jail. He's like a criminal, and he's an Omega. And they get a new prison guard who's an alpha. And basically the entire manga involves him trying to seduce the alpha. Because if the alpha marks him, then he can, like, I don't know, sue the jail or something and get out scot-free, probably. I don't know, it's pretty good. Is that downwards? That one's called Hagakumo Kamaratai. This one doesn't have doesn't have an English license, and this one doesn't have an English license. It makes sense a lot to say for a potential might continue to like that. Exactly. And I think that I wish people would explore that more because it's really interesting society, like world building. Yeah, she said like I had you so loud. My listener just told me she wasn't listening to anything the whole time. She was locked in my painting her shoes. Thank fucking God, dude. Thank fucking God. And the third one, as I mentioned, Takatora to Omega Tachi. Sorry I'm saying it's so gaijin, but I'm a gaijin. So this one is the one I mentioned where it deals a lot more with the political and societal implications of having a universe of the Omegaverse. If you're more interested in the world building, I would recommend this one for sure. These two are just kind of silly stuff. And this one is actually getting an English license soon, so Oh, now here is, let me go back. So now that we talked about Omegaverse, and we've gotten extensively talked about it and talked about a lot of that stuff, there are actually, Omegaverse is not the only universe that exists. Like a very unique, specific set, with a specific set of world rules. And like rules and world building. It actually has inspired a few like kind of like spin-off universes. There are actually quite a few, but I'm just gonna mention the two that I've heard of. So in a spin-off universe that is inspired by the kind of Omegaverse is the Cakeverse. It is basically in the Cakeverse, there are 2 types of people. Or I guess 3. I guess you have normal, the normal type, the beta type. So in Cakeverse, one type of people are presenting as forks, and the other type of people present as cakes. And basically, forks have an uncontrollable urge to eat cakes. And I've tried to look this up, and it seems very unclear what a fork eating a cake is. If it's cannibalism or just like smashing, like breeding. And I don't know. It probably depends on the word. I've never seen this before. Yeah, because it's very obscure. I think it basically I think it's Japan who's creating these like Japan and Asia creating these like spin-off universes. But it's a very niche. It's a niche category, but it's become more popular in recent years. So there's like I think a handful of works that are in it. That's still Omegaverse with licking fish. It might be. Really, it might be. It might be. According to this document, I got this from a BL publisher who like has a lot of stuff educating people about different yaoi tropes as well. The type of person only feels delicious when they eat cake. Yeah. Oh yeah. I forgot about this. I forgot about this part. Sorry. Forks have lost their sense of taste, and the only thing that tastes good to them is cakes. Again, I don't know if this means fucking or this means cannibalism. Let's see. The type of person who's deliciously eaten. Oh yeah. They don't know that they're cakes. So apparently cake people don't know that they're cakes. They cannot taste or smell anything other than the forks. If they never encounter one, they may live their entire life without realizing they're cakes. Oh yeah. They don't know that they're cakes, and they only realize that they're cakes when they meet a fork. And then the normal people. Wait, when I heard about this, I thought it was a bit cake. It is real. I heard the term once, but never knew what it meant. Well, here you go. It exists. Will cake first be on the exam next summer stream? All of this will be on the exam. Make sure you're studying. In my brain, they just gotta be having like really good SEX. Don't know, man. I don't know. IS Cake First, my favorite guru. Might be. Crustacean, hello! If anything, you're growing up. I'm not being part of this. I've learned too much of this cursed shit already, so see you lots of love. Good night, Crustacean. Thank you for dropping by. Yeah, it's okay. These classes are for everyone. It's fine. But we're learning a lot here. Like the boys like Blaze Miss and Wonderful Side if you're a mess lock in. He's really cute, right? Look at them. He's really cute, right? Anyways, I don't know about that. I don't know, bro. And now that this is the other variation I've heard. The other variation I've heard is the Dom subverse. Which would be like, isn't that just BDSM? Kind of. It's basically kind of. I mean, your glasses. Your glasses look great. You don't like my glasses? For my understanding, this is my understanding. I'll read the description in a second to correct it. My understanding of Dom subverse is basically you get a present with a third, like there's this, present with a second gender. You're either a Dom or a sub. So Doms have like Dommy daddy powers to control the subs, and the subs are forced to listen. That's what I know. That's what I'm aware. Now let's read this description, which again from this BL publisher called Chill. They have a lot of information about interesting yaoi tropes on their Twitter, so you want to check it out. So basically, blah, 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 blah. Doms dominate, subs want to be dominated. It's all about blah, blah, blah. Doms can be sweet, protecting their blah, 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 blah. Okay, yeah, so it's just basically Doms and subs. Like I said, it's Doms and subs. But they probably have super, like, Dom powers where they can, like, influence their sub. That's the other variation I've heard. On this post that I found, actually, you see how it says number 5, Dom sub? This post, if you want to check it out, actually mentions a bunch of other universes that I've never heard of. So, you know, the more you know. I paid real money to go back in time to deliver the presentation to my high school speech. Really glad to hear that. Really glad to hear that. You guys think this is great. Really glad to hear that. Yaoi's the best. It is the best, right? I love Yaoi. There's a child in this cover. Oh, I guess they gave birth. I guess there's M-Preg in this as well. I guess you can M-Preg in the Dom subverse and give birth to a baby. An ass baby again. Cool. The more you know. I guess I do. Also, in case you're wondering, I'm making shit up. No, this is Dom sub universe in Japanese, and this also is Dom subverse. It's amazing. Yay! Frontis middle school me and altered the course of my life forever. Alright. And that brings me to the end of the presentation, basically. I know I like boys back in. Oh! It would probably make you come up faster. While we're at it, I'm gonna make a quick questionnaire to see how you guys liked about it. But yes, let me know your questions. Feel free to spread out the questions, but let me make a quick Google form about the presentation first. Omegaverse class survey. How'd it go? How did it go? Okay, for this question, let's make it a linear scale. Let's see. To 5. 1 to 5? Sure. What would you rate this? 1 equals bad. 5 equals good. How would you rate the presentation? Yeah. How would you rate the presentation? How would you rate the presentation? New question. Required. New question. Would you attend a similar lecture again? Okay, good. Let's see. Hit 4 pages of some change on notes. Oh, that's amazing! Holy shit! This is genuinely incredibly well done presentation. Thank you, Rita. Yay! I'm glad you liked it! Yay! I worked really hard! Well, this peer review that counts. It wasn't. It's all based off of my vibes. And my incredible stuff. Yay! I think you invites Yuri directly to my like plot. Yeah! Let's go! On Tuesday, not realizing you do this take on. Omega. Let's go! One example of Omega. Can't believe there's a guide verse. Have you heard of it? I saw mentions of it, and I read one Korean manhwa, like yaoi manhwa, that had a guide. Really interesting. Yeah. From my understanding, the guide verse, basically there's guides, and then there's whatever the other one is, and the guide helps them control their energy. Detailed anatomy is no, don't do that. Enjoy the presentation with your tenants learn presentation again. Did you have any difficulty understanding? Were there any difficulties in understanding? Were there any unclear explanations? And then were there any unclear explanations? What would you like to improve? What would you like to see improve? Do you have any suggestions for improvement? And then finally, Those should be necessary too. It should be required. This is not the requirement. And then for this one, it should be any suggestions for future lecture topics. There you go. Okay. Looks good. I believe it need more. There's no Omegaverse. My local stores. I'll drive to the Liver's City. So true, bestie. So true. Okay. Best place to buy Omegaverse is online, most likely. Yeah. Well, you can see it in a lot of bookstores too, because it's getting really popular too. The presentation is actually really good and actually learn stuff. Not that I'm sure if I want to learn about it still right now. Now you've learned. Oh wait, let me delete this. Hold on. Lecture feedback form. Placement. I'm so pleased this was peaked. Do you have any thoughts about Tencent? Oh yes, I forgot to mention that. Thank you. I knew I forgot something. Thank you so much for the dono, May! Thank you also. So nesting is something that I think is super cute because a lot of the behavior of Omegaverse is derived again from animal behavior. So some stories will have it where when Omega actually gets pregnant, they will actually begin to exhibit nesting behavior similar to animals like, you know, like birds and stuff like that. Well, they will start building a nest. You'd be like, wow, did they go out and get like sticks and mud and shit? No, not typically. It's more like they'll get like clothes or like blankets or like stuff like that to create like a nest where they will, you know, take care of the baby or whatever, where they give birth and stuff like that, which I think is really cute as well. That stuff's really cute. There's also scents. Well, scents are also an interesting trait. So they also, I mentioned earlier about pheromones, right? Which are a bit related to scents too. So there are some stories where they say like, oh, this Omega will, like, you know, Omegas and Alphas have unique scents that are distinct to them. So they'll smell like this combination or this thing, you know? So you'll have like, you know, unique scents. Like, you know, like perfume or whatever, right? Those are really fun. Thanks for the lessons, I learned more than I wanted. I'm so glad I forced the education in your brains. Typically, my streams involve stealing your brain cells and absorbing your knowledge. So I'm so glad we kept the reverse for once. Except for more lessons. Yay! Thank you for 7 months of membership for Tree. I'm glad you guys liked it too. Woo! I'm pregnant and Nest, so that checks out. Oh my god, your Nest from Undertale? So they don't build a whole house. Not typically, yeah. The biological urge to go out IKEA and buy more furniture for sure. I can't tell it's one in Omegaverse. It might, honestly it might, to be honest. Yeah. This was Omegaverse. Well, the presentation was very informative. Yay! I'm glad you guys had fun. Yay! And you learned a lot. Yay! Whew. 2 hours, bro. This was a 2-hour lecture. That's crazy. But do you guys see now why I think I spent like collectively like 3 hours working on this presentation. I wish I had another hour so I could have practiced it and rehearsed it and added more like details, like some of the topics that, for example, some of the topics May suggested, and I could have found a more extensive list of recommendations for you guys. But alas, I'm last minute Lucy, so that's all I do. All I do is do things last minute. But yeah, I was really excited to work on this, so I hope you guys liked it. Yeah, I'm glad you guys liked it. Only 3 hours is insane. I would have included more stuff too if I could have. It was at least 3 hours. But yeah. Yay! I like the loose presentation style. Yay! I'm glad! Goodbye! Last minute, Lucy. But yeah, I think I really enjoyed doing this. A classic last minute, Lucy. Yeah, I really enjoyed doing this presentation and like doing the research and stuff, and I'm glad you guys learned a lot. So I really want to do some more in the future. So if you guys like this format, again, I'm open to suggestions if you want me to change things up. If you want me to make the presentation on a blinding white background, I could try that as well. But I have the beginnings of a rough structure for a presentation about yaoi in my head for the future. But yeah! They're like, yay! Think I like, yay, glad! Off on Discord, everyone wants to, yay! Taking time to educate us. Yay! I'm so glad! Yeah! Please leave, leave your reviews and let me know how it went. And, glad you guys had fun! Yay! I thought we'd run short, so I'd have to like find something to fill our time that has like Omegaverse stuff going on, but first of all, time when it came to make presentations look good. Oh, graphic design is your passion, huh? Huh? But yeah, can't wait for the next presentation. Please get more headshots. Will do. That's the worst thing I've ever drawn. But yeah, thank you guys for coming to the stream. And I will be back tomorrow at around 2 p.m. with a stream. I don't know what yet. I thought that I might have to come up with something, like, if we had extra time today, that I'd have to continue for tomorrow. But luckily we didn't, so I will figure out whatever we're doing tomorrow. Yeah. We are going to raid into somebody. I think we may go raid into... I'm trying to decide. On the road at that time? Oh, no worries. I don't even know what we're doing, so... Please, thank you guys for coming! We are going to raid into... It's either gonna be... Okay, here's the choices. We're either gonna raid into Awooooo, because she said hi, did stream earlier, or we're raiding into Machinex Flayon, because I think it'd be funny to raid into him after an Omegaverse stream. Up to you guys. I will say Awooooo is playing a water park simulator, and Flayon is playing Pokemon. What are we doing tomorrow? I don't know. I didn't decide yet. I'll decide tonight. Woohoo! Thank you, thank you. That's the thing you did. You're welcome. You're welcome. So, you know, which one do you guys want to go into? What do you guys want to see? I'm not gonna eat my dinner, my Taco Bell, my shitty Taco Bell dinner. Woohoo! There's a lot of people... These are a lot of people streaming right now, wow. They want to be hilarious. Okay, let's see if it'll let me raid into him. Well, Flayon didn't say hi, so... He didn't say hi, that is true. I can use my mentally British. Oh, true. Okay, sure. Will you be posting the sketch tonight or this weekend? Probably tonight. I'll post it on, like, pretty much after this stream, I will post it. So, let us go say hello to Mr. Flayon Machina. Careful that Taco Bell, that could lead to asp. It's true, that's true, so true. You know what? We'll do an Omega raid. So anyways, as always, thank you guys for coming! I had so much fun! I'll see you guys tomorrow, and if not, I'll see you next weekend. If not, have a lovely, wonderful rest of your life. As always, Otsuya! Bye-bye!